Now on BBC One, saddle up for Grandstand. And don't forget, digital viewers can get a guide to the runners and riders in the National with BBC Eye by pressing the red button now.
I genuinely go to the start of the Grand National every year believing that this will be my year. Unfortunately, 6 or 7 or 8 attempts that I've had so far haven't ended up that way. Grand National, one-off, once a year, most famous horse race in the world. I'm sure it's every jockey's dream to win it, and it's certainly mine.
Towards the outside, they're underwaters and they're racing in the Grand National.
Hello and welcome to Aintree, home of the most celebrated, most talked about, most magical race. Today sees the running of the 2003 Martel Cognac Grand National. It is a special occasion that will be watched by over 800 million people on television around the world, and 65,000 lucky spectators will be here on the course to savour that big race atmosphere. At 3:45 this afternoon, 40 of the bravest horses and riders will start the race, and at around 4 o'clock we'll know which horse has taken their place in Grand National history.
Well, those are 9 of the best fancied horses in this year's race. But if you look at the statistics from 12 months ago, you could argue that all of them will fall at the first, because we had 9 fallers last year, including the well-fancied Paris Pike. And the reason is not that the fence isn't inviting. It's absolutely beautiful, built on a slope with this spruce brought down from the Lake District. It's 4'6" in height. The landing is very fair. But the problem is that the start is 2 furlongs away up there in front of the marquees. That's 1/4 of a mile. And lots of these horses just get going far too fast, get to this fence, go whoopee, and they're way too bold and knuckle on landing. The conditions are absolutely perfect. The ground is good, everything is set fair, but they've got to get over this and then the 29 other fences.
So we've heard all about the perils facing the jockeys at the first fence. Let's take another look now at a couple of famous landmarks here at Aintree. The best known of all is the 6th fence, Beecher's Brook. That will be the 22nd second time around. And dramatically jumped in front of the grandstands. It's the chair, the biggest on the course. This fence will be jumped only once. These two are just part of the 30 fences that make up the challenge here at Aintree. It is, of course, 2 circuits of the track, and having passed the winning post on the opening time, they head out around the course once again. And having jumped the final fence, they face the long 494-yard run-in, which has produced so many dramatic finishes in the past. It's the final test for a tired horse and rider.
The But how many times has the probable outcome not been reflected in the reality of the finish? It can all change between the elbow and the line. And Peter Scudamore, we saw it again last year.
Yeah, we've seen it so many times. For those punters with the winning tickets or their betting tickets sat at home, don't go and collect until you pass the line. It can all change in this last 400 or 500 yards.
And is there anything that a jockey can do to save a bit with the horse he's riding?
You can, the better you're going, the more you can save, but the temptation is that when the other horses around you begin to pick up and race, and everybody gets anxious from about Canal Turn second time, everybody starts pushing on, and the thought of saving really goes out of the window.
Now, how many finishes do you think there'll be this year? There were only 11 last year, and as I said, 9 of them went at the first.
The reason I think there'll be a lot of finishes this season is because the ground is good. The man I respect most about in judgment of ground is the great Harvey Smith of Victory for V-Sign fame and show jumping. He always walks all the courses, tests the ground, and he said this is the best ground he's seen for a long, long time. And that means that the horses will bounce out of it, over it. It won't use too much energy, and as long as they don't go too quick early on and a little bit of luck, we'll have a lot of finishes.
Well, the Grand National news we had this morning is that Norman Williamson, having suffered a very heavy fall yesterday, is not fit to ride. He was due to be on board Kilusty, who's very well fancied, and Tony Dobbin, who thought suddenly he didn't have a ride in the race when Kingsmark was pulled out. He now takes Norman's place, and what a ride that'll be.
So that is the latest news. Many of the spectators already here enjoying the big race day. Owners, trainers and jockeys arriving all the time. Here is Richard Johnson arriving with his girlfriend Zara Phillips. Richard, of course, on Bayrajan, the top weight. Will it be his year this time? Well, every national has a story to tell. Will it be another fairy tale ending? Over the next couple of hours or so, we're going to show you a variety of stories surrounding this great race. Scoo's been putting Paul Nicholls' two main fancies through their paces, Ad Hoc and Shotgun Willie. Scoo's verdict on them coming up. Affectionately known as the Odd Couple, they have produced the perfect racing partnership. I went to meet the husband and wife team, Henrietta Knight and Terry Biddlecombe. We'll hear from the unluckiest jockey in national history. John White was first past the post in 1993. That was on Echennesse in the National that never was. And the jockey that never should be. A few visits to the sauna beckons for Johnny Vegas as he attempts to join the bold and the brave in the jockey's room.
The Grand National, the world's greatest steeplechase. 4.5 miles, 30 fences, 40 horses. Legends in their time, Red Rum, Aldenita, Mr Frisk. And this year, Humphrey and Vegas.
Well, plenty of Liverpool fans here are supporting You'll Never Walk Alone because it's the Anfield anthem, but things not going great for them down the road at Old Trafford, where Manchester United lead Liverpool 1-0 thanks to a penalty from Ruud van Nistelrooy. Sami Hyypiä has been sent off for Liverpool, but maybe if you fancy Red Striker, is that an omen? For the first time this year, the Martel Cognac Grand National will be interactive. So if you're watching through digital, you can press the red button, you'll get a horse-by-horse guide from Angus Loughran. You'll also be able to see great Grand Nationals from the past, courtesy of our archive collection. And you'll get different camera angles on the race itself. We've got 52 cameras around the place. You won't be able to see the shots from all of them, though. Some things you just shouldn't see. But we've got 4 races live for you on Grandstand this afternoon. The first of them is due off at 1:45. It's the Cordon Bleu Handicap Hurdle. Then at 2:20, Impec is hot favourite for the Martal Magul Novices Chase. At 2:55, the champion hurdler Rooster Booster heads a field of 11 for the Martel Cognac Aintree Hurdle. And then at 3:45, it's the big one, 40 line up for the Martel Cognac Grand National. The ground is perfect. Only 2 horses have been declared as non-runners in the first race, number 14 Rigmarole, and in the 6th race, number 22 Miss Cospector. No non-runners in the Grand National, though.
Well, what a day ahead. It's the biggest betting day of the year. £150 million will be taken today. For many of you at home, it's possibly your one and only visit to the local bookies. So what return can you expect for your money? Well, let's take a look at the latest odds in betting order. Well, one of the big stories of the day is who is going to start favourite. Well, these are the latest odds. We have co-favourites there. three of them, Shotgun Willie and Ad Hoc, both trained by Paul Nicholls, and You'll Never Walk Alone. There's been a lot of money, of course there would be, Liverpool and Celtic supporters over the past couple of days. And Chives, trained by Henrietta Knight, ridden by Richard Guest, who was a winning jockey 2 years ago, is 10-1. Iris Blur, well, we expect a lot of money on this one because that's the choice of the champion jockey, Tony McCoy. Gingembre is owned and trained by Lavinia Taylor, that's 11-1. Monty's Pass with Barry Geraughty on board. He was the leading jockey at Cheltenham this year. And Killasty now 12-1. Of course, Norman Williamson, we know, now failed his fitness test. Tony Dobbin, well, he'd already had breakfast by the time he heard he was on that one today. Maximise has the winning jockey from last year, Jim Cullity, on board. They're 14s. Gunnar Welburn, Andrew Balding's first runner in the National, also 14-1. And Carberry Cross, John Joe O'Neill's first runner in the National, is 22-1, along with last year's winner, Bindery, who has the two-time winning jockey, Carl Llewellyn, on board. Bayrajan, the top weight, we've just seen Richard Johnson arrive here at the course, is 25-1. But what a fairy tale ending it would be if Amberleigh House crossed the post first. 30 years on from Red Rum's first victory. It's trained by Ginger McCain. And Montifaux as well, with Joe Tizard, who's recovered from a broken back. What a story that would be at 33-1. Paul Predica has 18-year-old Jamie Moore. Today at 33-1, what a day it's going to be for him. And if you're a fan of Fatal Attraction, then you might want number 13, the Bunny Boiler, at 40-1. Red Striker, now we have heard there is some doubt about his participation, but he is still there at 40-1. You're a Good, and another of Martin Pipes, is 40-1. And Caterino is ridden by Mick Fitzgerald, the winner in 96. And there's Southern Star, another of Henrietta Knight's, another of Trevor Hemmings, the owner. He has 3 horses in the race. And Jeddah, the French challenger, is 66-1. Fidalco is another of Paul Nicholls. He has 5 in the race today. They are 80-1. And Bramble Hill Duke only got into the race on Thursday afternoon when Kingsmark was forced to pull out. So many of these jockeys having their first ride around this course. And their Mantles Prince, one of the owners there, is Emlyn Hughes, and Burlew there, 150-1, only joined Martin Pipe's yard earlier this year.
Well, down here in the ring with Angus Locker, and we've got a newfangled contraption here. Angus, what is this and what does it do?
This is the Forecaster, and basically what it does, it takes statistics utilising the jockey and the trainer over the last 14 days, the going, the distance, and particularly here at Aintree, the course. It puts them all together, and then we analyse what it predicts will be the result. Now, obviously, there are 40 runners in the Grand National, so what we've had to do is narrow it down, and so the Forecaster has taken us the top 8, in its opinion, the top 8 best chances, not necessarily the market leaders when it comes to betting, but the top 8 as far as the Forecaster is concerned. So let's have a look at those top 8. Remember the criteria we're looking for: jockey, trainer, going, and of course distance, but above all here at Aintree, the course. So let's take the look at the Forecaster, and we'll put in the jockey first of all, John. Well, you can see the jockey, Carberry Cross's jockey Liam Cooper, in good form yesterday, and that one comes out as the early pace setter when you're just basing it on the jockey. Chives up there, Southern Star up there, Bindery behind, Amberleigh House, Maximise, Tordoff Express, and Goggenard down there at the bottom. But then when we add in the trainer, obviously Carberry Cross will still be in good form because John Joe O'Neill had a treble yesterday. You can see the Southern Stars up there, Bindery and Chives also up there. We can add in the going, and that's going to be particularly significant.
Now the distance will be the next one, Angus, but of course this is a very unique race, isn't it? 4.5 miles.
That's why Bindery will come up very well in this Forecaster, because it won the race last year and it's got course and distance form, and there when we put in the distance you can see it's already clear that our Forecaster is suggesting that Bindery is sure to run another massive race. Clearly when we add the course in we're going to get the final result, but Bindery, because it's got course and distance experience, it's got a pilot who loves riding here at Aintree. We can take a look at the final result, but you can see it's going to be Bindery all the way. The Forecaster predicting that we're going to have another triumph for Bindery, Carberry Cross in second, Maximise in third, and Amberleigh House in fourth.
Well, it comes up with Bindery, and it's an interesting statistic from this machine because, of course, Red Rum was the last horse here to win consecutive nationals.
So now you know, in fact, Bindery, if it does win today, will become the first back-to-back winner since, you guessed it, Red Rum back in 73 and 74. So now we've just seen John Parrott. He's joining our racing team for the first time. So we've got the Liverpool connection covered, but we've also got the Irish covered as well, because Craig Doyle is making his way to Aintree for the first time. And guess what? He's in good company.
Well, Claire, at last, we're in through the gates now here at Aintree, and it's your first time at Aintree.
It's the first time at Aintree. It's the first time I've ever been to a race meeting in England. Very few in Ireland, so I sure picked a big one today, didn't I?
Certainly did. So why do you never go? The nerves too much.
The nerves are too much for me. I can't cope with it. I can watch it on TV on my own or with my husband, fine, but not when there's a crowd around me. So you guys are privileged today.
Well, I tell you, I know you're a bit nervous in the hotel this morning. And the first thing you said to me was, I don't want to see any papers, right? But I can't resist. Front page of the Racing Post, there's your boy. I think I know a way of getting you relaxed. It involves the Red Rum Bar. Would you be interested in that?
Well.
Should we jump out? I haven't been here before either. I have to say, I've never seen an atmosphere like it in a racecourse.
It's such a beautiful day. I can't believe it. It's been, you know, even today, the weather and everything.
How are the nerves?
Terrible. I'm more nervous now than I was when I was in the car.
Really?
I'm sure you can hear it in my voice.
You've gone a little. Well, don't go too wobbly on us now, you know. I thought you'd get more relaxed. I thought coming here would have been like getting out of the dressing room, you know.
I don't know for why I'm more nervous. I think because the camera's near me.
Well, good. As long as it's taking your mind. Well, maybe this fella will take your mind off things.
Yes, what a day it will be for Claire McCoy, Tony McCoy's mum. It's amazing that not only has she never been to a national before, but she's never actually watched her son compete on a British racecourse. So I think she'll be a little nervous, and we'll be following her throughout the day. Well, there's tremendous tension already around the spectators, and I'm sure there'll be guaranteed tension in the jockeys' room. What does it take to be a top national hunt jockey? Well, we found the most unlikely recruit. Will the name of Johnny Vegas be on every owner's wish list? We'll find out now. But guess what? With a name like Vegas, he likes a gamble.
When it comes to real quality leisure time, you just can't beat a day at the races. It gives me a chance to taste the finer things in life. Burger, please, mate. Posh burgers. Well, the best thing about racing is you can take your hard-earned cash, have a bet, and win some money. Pound each way on that unpronounceable one, please, mate. Thing is, you've got to speculate to accumulate.
The bottom lane, Jake making a bit of ground.
Come on, be good to do. Come on, baby. That's it! Do it for the fat lad! Come on! That operation's man! Come on! They're laughing at you! Don't be a four-legged version of me on Sports Day! There's no pride in bringing up the rater! No! 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 You said it had a chance! I don't believe it. Another loser in a losing streak that spanned from the day I was born. I swear to God, them jockeys, they don't forget me. I'd be better off riding myself. So you got a Polish fetish or something? I've been mainly riding out of Dubai. I'm new, like, but I'm keen. Make fun of the new lad. I think I got away with it. Come on. I'm just gonna go out and blend. I want that that one. I think it's shocking the way they lock you all in sheds when you're not racing. Don't rate them. Don't rate them, I'm sorry.
Sit still. That's about 6 stone over.
Can I have a word? Can you, I'll let him ride you on.
I think you must be in the wrong race. You must be in the amateur race. It must be a later race or something.
That could be the best thing that ever happened to you.
I'm sorry. Just I'm busy, all right?
More fool you. Look at him, he's like a brick in boots. Should have been me. Should have been me. Fella, what's a bloke got to do get a race round here?
Well, Johnny, I can't understand it. We've all seen you've got talent.
Well, I've just been up to that Scudamore fella, and he's looking like I've just dropped out of one of his horse's bums. I mean, I'm not being funny, but I look round here, and loads of them look jaded. The keenest face he's seen all day.
I can't understand it, Johnny. We can all see
I
the
can't
talent.
understand it, Johnny. We all see the talent, Johnny. Can you get us a ride, Mick? Not now, Johnny. I've got a career to look after, Johnny. I reckon you're two-faced.
No, Johnny, I'm only doing my best for you, but I think once you get your foot in the door, you're going to go places.
I never got this hassle at Alton Towers.
You won't, but
I queued up for 20 minutes. I gotta go. I've been here 4 hours now.
This is different. This is the big time. I'm going to sort it with Skew that you can come and have a ride, and once they see you on that horse, that'll be it. You're made.
Scudamore?
Yeah.
Johnny, I've just had a word with Fitzy, and I'm going to give you one chance.
Oh, you won't regret it.
Be in the yard at 7 o'clock tomorrow, and I'll have a horse for you.
Oh, cheers, Mr. Scudamore. See you there. The new dawn of a new day, and the sport of kings has a new king. That's how hard he done it. Well, Peter, mate, I've been watching you go up and down, and to be honest, it looks easy, so when can I get started?
It's just not as easy as it looks, but I've got a horse back at the yard that I can teach you the basics on.
Let's do it. Come on. Come on, do it for Dad. Come on. Whoa. You can fly, Pegasus. You can fly. That's it. Hey. Oh, good girl like you. Good girl. So, Mr. Scudamore, what do you think?
I'm very impressed, Johnny, but I think there's certain things that you need to improve on. But the next step is to get you on the real thing.
Shh. I thought it was.
Johnny, this is Humphrey.
Hey,
Humphrey, this is Johnny.
Hey, I love you too. No problem. I've already commanded that respect from him, haven't I? Jesus. Go on, nearly on. Oh God, it's high up here. Right then, it's just me and you, fella, galloping over hill and dale, over fence and field and foul. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. And you know why? Because we're a team. Get ready, my mighty steed, as we're off. Did you get that? Please tell me you got that.
Johnny, you were brilliant. You're so brave, so athletic. I just admired you so much on that horse.
To be honest, mate, it was a bit of a doddle. I don't see what the fuss was. I mean, I was just on there, I was off. Man, master the beast. You know, it just comes too easy to me, I suppose.
You're not thinking of giving it up, are you?
Well, you know, I need more of a challenge. I mean, I've been there, seen it, done it. Well, what else is there left for me to achieve in the world of horses?
Well, I think I've got the job for you.
You sure? Mr. Scudamore was right. This is a dream job. I get to be at one with my horses and I get to deliver the ale. It's a dream come true. Cheers!
Showed so much promise there. We think he might be in the Grand National alongside AP McCoy next to you. You never know. This was their reaction as they were watching him on the mechanical horse, the wooden horse down at Skew's Yard. And I think their faces say it all. Not a huge amount of mutual respect going on there. But that must have been fun to film, very funny to watch.
Yeah, it was. He's an extraordinary talent, isn't he? I mean, it wasn't scripted or anything, and he was so sharp, and he's very brave to get on the horse. I mean, you and I get used to horses all the time, and you suddenly get somebody who's a little bit nervous of them, and you can realise what great power they've got. And it could have hurt him. That one bit when he just trotted off, that wasn't meant to happen. You know, luckily he was just caught in time.
What? You're telling me that it wasn't him jumping those fences?
Those jumping the fences. That was a highly paid actor we brought in, a stuntman.
I can't believe it. I thought this was really Johnny. You're kidding. Who is it then? Who was it? He looked hopeless.
It'll be revealed itself on Question of Sport, won't he? Who is this face?
Was that you?
That was me without a beard. I wanted a beard, you see. I got a big
That
pillow.
was very, very good. I never realised you could ride quite so badly.
Oh, I can, yes. I've got old black and white pictures showing me the same, yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it. I thought that was absolutely superb. Well done.
Good.
Brilliant.
A few minutes ago, there's been a presentation to Charlie Swan, the great jockey, the rider of Isterbrack. He's retiring today, and he's still going to ride. He's going to ride like a butterfly. He's got some good chances. Could win the opener. Conrad Dwyer with him, Tony McCoy, Barry Geraughty, all his Irish friends, although McCoy comes from the north and we've grabbed him as one of ours now. All the boys came out of the weighing room to wish Charlie well. He is a trainer, of course, at the moment, but we'll remember him as the partner of the 3 times champion hurdle winner, which was, of course, the great Isterbrack. Isterbrack, owned by JP McManus. Well, we wish him well in his training career.
Yes, an emotional day for Charlie Swan. We'll be hoping to hear from him a little later on. But the first race is coming up at 1:45, but now here at Aintree, one of the great traditions on Grand National Day, as they invite back many of the winners in recent years, the great heroes of the race, each one with a race to remember and a place in history. Richard will now guide us through the parade of champions.
And the first one that we will be seeing is also the biggest horse of the lot, Party Politics. He's now 19 years of age, led up here by Robert Shields, but what a fantastic horse he was. And you'll remember Carl Llewellyn powering home. He was ridden for trainer Nick Gaisley, and he was Carl. Of course, Carl got this as the result of a broken leg by his original partner. Now we go to one of the smallest. This is Minnie Homer, ridden by Richard Dunwoody. Of course, for Freddie Starr, the great comedian. Martin Pike trained this one. He just run 5th in the Gold Cup and came here to take his Grand National when you believe were just 10 stone 4. Now that was a great victory. Dunwoody also won it on West Tip, of course. He salutes the crowd. They were on. Now, Royal Athlete, he's a rarity because he's a chestnut by the stallion Roselier. He's led up by Cordelia Chugg, who's been doing a lot of eventing and dressage on this horse. Well, you remember him winning. Jason Titley rode him. Jenny Pittman's 2nd winner, and he was owned by the brothers Gary and Libby Johnson. Then we move on to Old Rough Quest. He's 17 years of age now. He's called Questy, naturally, lives at Dorking, where he used to be trained. He's a lead horse and a schoolmaster for Albert Ennis's horse. Remember him winning? Noel Reynolds led him up then. He ran 36 times, he won 8 races, £370,000. Mickey Fitz was on board that day. What a super win that was. We'll never get his post-race comments. Lord Galeen, another big horse, New Zealand bred, and not the first one. Seagram was, you remember. Diane Joyce leads him up today, and he won by 25 lengths on that occasion from Sunny Bay, then trained by Charlie Brooks, the second. The winner by Steve Brookshaw. Lord Galeen was a winner for Tony Dobbin, who's picked up a good ride today in Callusty. An Earth Summit. His beloved attendant Marcella Bayliss looked after him when he was in training. She looks after him now. She uses him as a hunter. He's a great pal. And for Earth Summit's jockey, Carl Llewellyn, it was his second win, having won on Party Politics. And of course, again, he got this ride when Tom Jenks broke his leg the week of the race. What an amazing lucky double for him. Twiston Davis was the trainer. And Papillon from Ireland, that's Katie Walsh who's leading Papillon up. Lovely, big, intelligent horse, trained by Katie's father, Ted. And this horse really landed a monster gamble, 33-1 down. And Rumi Walsh, who rode him on that occasion, beating Melly Moss, who was running for the first time that year. He had the good ground that he wanted, and he did the business. And 2 years ago, Red Marauder ploughed through the mud, only 4 finished. He beat Smarty that day. Claire Metcalf leads him up. He's only just been retired. It was hoped he could have competed today. And for his then assistant trainer, but now trainer, it is, of course, Richard Guest, who said to the crowd, "I did it. I beat the odds."
Well, one horse that was missing from that parade was the one that was first past the post in the Grand National that never was, 10 years ago today.
That's it, that away, and Riverside Boy is slowly away, and Chatham has refused to start at all, and a red flag is being raised, and it is in fact a false start. Now they're being called in again, and they're away, and once again they're snagged on the tape, and it's a recall. It's a recall. It was caught round Richard Dunwoody's neck. They've been recalled, but the majority don't realise that it is a recall. Well, this is one of the greatest disasters in the history of the National, because here are these heroic competitors believing that the race is on. It cannot possibly be an official race. So as they race up to the line, in the National that surely isn't, Echeniz is the winner, second is Carvilla Howe, third is Romany King for the committee. And here is a bitterly disappointed John White, rider of Echeniz, and what a bitter, desperate disappointment for him.
I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what was going on. First of all, I thought I'd won it. Then when I spoke to Dean, he said, is there something the matter? This race is not going to take place. It's not a nice feeling.
To us, it seemed pretty obvious that, look, this is not a race.
Yes, and when I saw the replay after, it was pretty obvious to me as well. But when it was happening, all I was doing was trying to get around.
I saw you and another jockey chatting in the race, and I was convinced you were saying, oh, to hell with it, we know it's void, but let's go on anyway.
No, I wouldn't go around there for nothing. And if that was the case, you don't know what's going to happen. Is the race going to be run again or whatever? You have to look after the health of the horse and yourself. You're not going around there just for the fun of it, you know.
Did you think from some way out, I've got this?
From a long way, I thought the horse would win. I thought if I don't hit the front too soon, if I don't make a mistake, this horse will win. And at that stage of your career, like, you're not going to get too many good rides in a race like that. I finished second in the Zarevich. And when you ride horses like that and you finish as close as that, you kind of say to yourself, well, maybe that's as close as you're ever going to get in a national. And for this to happen, you don't feel too good. I think I rode for a few months, and then I came back and started training a few, and we breed horses to sell, and we train a few to run on the track and a few to run in point to points. I had 3 enter today. I probably won't run one horse. One has ran twice before. She needs better ground. The other is first time out.
Pop her out up in the first season and see how we go.
Well, John, back to the drawing board with that one.
I'm afraid so, Richard. She probably won't win again. She has the ability, but she doesn't seem to want to do it.
We're a long way from Aintree here at Wexford, but are you burning to saddle a horse in the Aintree National?
Yeah, I'd like to have a runner there because it's a great race and it's a great occasion. It'd be nice to have a good enough horse to go there.
It would be great to see him back here, wouldn't it? But John White retired happily with all his limbs intact and a fully fit and healthy man, but an awful lot of jockeys have their careers truncated by injury. And with that in mind, the Injured Jockeys Fund is dedicated to raising funds for them. And this year, the money they raise will be boosted thanks to the help of the Irish folk duo Foster and Allen, who have recorded a version of Fields of Athenry with the help of a few well-known jockeys.
The small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing. We had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. Small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing. We had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely around the fields of Athenry.
I quietly suggest that a few of those backing vocalists ought to go off to the Fame Academy, but they've done a great job and it's released as a single. Now also the Irish bookmakers Paddy Power have given Foster and Allen a free £500 charity bet. Any funds raised will be given to the Injured Jockeys Fund, and they have selected 3 horses. They've got £200 on Iris Blur, ridden by AP McCoy. They've got £200 on Shotgun Willie, I think Ruby Walsh told them about that one, and they've had £50 each way on Caterino, who's a huge price. Mick Fitzgerald on board. I think they may have had the inside word there as well.
Yes, why not, and good luck to them. Some brief news, though. We did mention earlier today that Red Striker, there was some doubt about his participation in the race. Well, good news if you've got your money on him. He will definitely be lining up for the Grand National later this afternoon. Well, we'll continue our build-up to the big race throughout the afternoon, but we are now ready for our first race today. It is the Cordon Bleu Handicap Hurdle, and here's Jim McGrath with the runners and riders.
Thanks, Sue. Yes, a total of 19 going to post in our opener, and let's have a quick look at them. One is Never in the colours of Sir Peter O'Sullivan. Thierry Dumen aboard. 2 Polar Red. Tony McCoy riding Iris Blur later on in the big one, the Grand National. 3 is Non-So. Mick Fitzgerald is aboard Caterino. Let's scroll them up and see some of the others that are in this big field in the first. Picking out a few of them, Tony Dobbin rides Full Irish, and he's coming for the ride on Colasti, so possibly a lucky ride for him. 7 New Hall, quietly fancied from Ireland, Fran Flood. Going further down the list, Risky Reef, Ruby Walsh over from Ireland as well. And right down the bottom, 16 Per Amore is Richard Johnson. He's riding Bayrajan. And 17 Alte, interesting runner, Padge Wheeland aboard, looking for his 24th winner of the season. Charlie Swan is riding number 18, Take Flight. He'll be looking forward to Like a Butterfly later. The bottom one is Chevet Girl, ridden by Patrick Aspel, claiming the 3. They're the 19 runners in our opener on Grand National Day here at Aintree. Beautiful afternoon, and here with a complete show of betting in the first is Angus Lock.
An interesting support for Never, who's 6-1 from 7-1, but Take Flight is the 5-1 favourite from Never, owned by Sir Peter O'Sullivan. Alte is a 7-1 chance, having drifted out from 11-2 with New Hall at 9s. Polar Red is 10s with Non-So out to 12s. Good interesting each way support for Full Irish at 14-1, and it's 16-1 bar. But down here in the ring, all the talk is about the Grand National. And the latest interesting piece of news I've got for you is that Ladbrokes have got a colossal liability on Red Striker. Why? Because they offered this morning 250 to 1 about Ruud van Nistelrooy scoring the first goal in the big game that's currently taking place at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Liverpool, and Red Striker to win. And literally, they took thousands of fivers and tenors. Well, it doesn't take too much 250 to 1 to build up a big liability. So if we see a market move for Red Striker, that I'm sure will be purely because Ladbrokes are hedging their position on must be pretty big. Don't forget, of course, if you're backing each way in the National, 1 or 2 firms are betting up to 6 places. Bet Direct, a quarter of the odds first 6. There are others betting 5 places as well, and we'll endeavour to give you the 4th, 5th and 6th places when we round up the result. Who's going to be favourite for the National? Paddy Power are currently betting 2 to 1. You'll never walk alone. There's still a big tip that it could be Iris Blur, it could even be Chives or Ad Hoc. That's the question that so many people are asking. Who is going to start the Grand National favourite? I honestly couldn't say with any real confidence at this stage, but what I will promise you is that we will endeavour to keep you up to date with how the Grand National betting is going throughout Grandstand this afternoon.
Well, this race, Skew, was won last year by Into Sky Falcon. He went on to be a very, very good horse, and we've got a lot of good horses here. The colours here of None So, the Racing Association, Owners Association Dawn Run partnership. He ran tremendously well in the Tote Gold Trophy at Newbury and then at Cheltenham. But why is he a big drifter in the market?
Well, Nicky Henderson, the trainer of this horse, had a winner yesterday, but I think that was his first winner for 66 runs, so the stable is a little bit out of form, and that is why he's 12 to 1 drifting from 11 to 1. He's got the assistance of Nick Fitzgerald on his back, who won the Grand National on Rough Quest.
He is a lovely horse, isn't he?
He does look very well, to be fair, but it's very difficult for trainers because you can look at horses and they can look fantastic, but for some reason they're just inside, they're just not 100%, and they just don't perform as well as they can do on the racecourse. But let's hope for the Nicky Henderson yard that that winner is broken the ice now and they're back on the winning track.
Okay, now we'll take another look at some colours that you'll know. And that looks like Alte, Richard Fahey's Pudge Whelan on board. Now, this horse only run 3 times, Skew, this season. Didn't run at all last, but 2 wins in a second.
Yeah, he was a very good flat horse. He's won 7 times on the flat. And this course very often suits this type of horse. So this would be the one I think they have to beat. He's 7 to 1 from 13 to 2.
And Richard Fahey, very able to line one up for any sort of contest.
That's
good
right.
Trainer.
Although he was a jump jockey himself, he's better known for his exploits on the flat.
Now, what about Sir Peter O'Sullivan's colours? You'll see those on Never. There is Never. Thierry Duman riding. Now, this horse landed a nice gamble first time and hasn't disgraced in the 2 subsequent runs.
Not at all. I think you'll see this horse held up towards the rear, and if they go a good gallop and if they kick or they begin to race too early into the straight, this will suit number 1 Never. And although he's got a lot of weight in his back, I think his class can come through and he can pay an interest in the finish.
Yep. Now, Charlie Swan, as you've seen, has announced his retirement, but he's still got a couple of aces to play today. And Take Flight here could be one of them. Tony Mullins trains. I saw Charlie win on the level on this last time out in a Jump Jockeys versus Flat Boys race, and he looked tidy. Horse
yes,
looked good.
Yeah, he's the one that there's been all the money for. He's 11 to 2 favourite from 5 to 1. And Tony Mullins, a great Irish character, good jockey, champion jockey in Ireland in his own right. And he is also well able to lay a horse out for a decent punt. So if he's brought him over from Ireland here, they must be well fancying him.
Just identing the horses in shot, you can see the diamond there, and that is of Tony Dubbin on Full Irish.
He's the leading winner of these runners. He's won 6 times Full Irish. So Tony Dobbins come in for that great spare ride. There's New Hall we're just looking at. He was successful in 2 hurdle races. He's won the good to soft and the heavy ground. So this ground might be a little bit too quick for him. But doesn't he look well? Beautifully platted out and lovely diamonds on his quarters.
But you know, for Fran Flood, who rides him as a flat jockey, he's dropped his leathers a bit.
Yes, he's...
Right, well, let's have a look at Sir Stanley Clark's horse here, which is Polar Red. Now, Lady Hilda Clark is the owner of this one. McCoy's. Well, there is Sir Stanley. Actually, I can't see Hilda in the shot, but she won't be very far away. But we certainly wish Sir Stan a lot of luck because he's had a bit of ill health this winter. But it looks as if they're coming in. It'll be fast and furious one, this Jim. It'll be a good one to keep up with and get you warmed up for the big one.
Certainly does. Gets us all warmed up for it. Coming in now to line up for our first race on Martel Cognac Grand National Day 2003.
All right, bring it on.
Coming out onto the track now. They have a pretty quick run to the first turn. There's Simon Morant, who'll be starting the big one later on today at 3:45. Senior starter for the Jockey Club.
Come on!
Coming in under orders, and they're racing. This big field of 19 setting off for this Cordon Bleu handicap hurdle. And Idaho Docks is the first one to go on from Chevet Girl in the early stages. Edmo Heights is up there as well, and Altean on the inside. Mr. McGoldrick just tucked in behind them is Brooklyn's Gold as they settle down. Further back in the field, Per Amore. Then New Hall, and also there out wider is Risky Reef and the black sleeves and cap. Giving them a big start early is Mythical King. As they come to the first, leaders jump it well, all over safely, and the pace is a cracker early. As they come up the straight the first time, it's Idaho Docks by a couple of lengths to Chevet Girl, then Edmo Heights on the outside from Mr. McGoldrick, and right there in the centre is Elte, 2 or 3 lengths away. Then on the inside, Brooklyn's Gold, followed wider out by Dream With Me. Per Amore is further back from Non So, and then Risky Reef, and out wider is Full Irish, followed further back in the field then by Mythical King, as they're all over the third safely. Behind Mythical King, Risky Reef never tucked away on the inside of runners, about 6th or 7th last. Thierry Duman scraping paint as they go down past the judge. Out wider on the track is Take Flight for Ireland, and also Polar Red. Behind them, Howardeth and New Hall, and Maragun is last of all. And there's a pretty big field, 19 runners, as they charge past the packed stands and out with just under a circuit to go. The leader on the outside, Chevy Girl, narrowly, but Idaho Docks comes back to join her. They're 2 or 3 lengths to Mr. McGoldrick, travelling on the inside of Elte, a length and a half then to Brooklyn's Gold. Out wider is Edmo Heights, 2 lengths further back is Full Irish, travelling on the outside of Non So, and then Dream With Me, Per Amore as they jump the 4th. Back in the field then Risky Reef, followed out wider by Mythical King and Polar Red. Further back is Take Flight, taking off from the rear in company there with Never. 2 or 3 lengths away then is Grave Doubts, who's giving them a big start with Howardeth, who's out the back. New Hall has lost ground, and last still is Maragun. At the 5th, and Idaho Docks it is by 4 or 5 lengths, has skipped away. Chevet Girl couldn't go with it. Then up in third is Elte on the outside of Mr. McGoldrick, and further back is Full Irish, very deep off the track. As they come to 4 out, Idaho Docks jumped it like a stag, full of running. Mistake back in the field by Mythical King, went right down on his nose, but still standing. About to leave the back, and it's Idaho Docks by 2 lengths to Polar Red. Up there as well too is Dream With Me, not that far away, and Elte just preceding that one. Further back is Full Irish in 5th as they start to pack up and leave the back now, and they run right along the top of the track. Edmo Heights is being pushed along, no response. New Hall has come from last, also running on fairly well as Risky Reef. Non So is being hard ridden, and Brooklyn's Gold getting into it. It's Idaho Docks the leader though from Polar Red as they round the corner now. Idaho Docks for Tom Scudamore, has got a big ride in the National later on today on Blowing Wind, leads by 2 or 3 lengths to Elte. Polar Red on the outside, Brooklyn's Gold behind them as they set sail for the judge, and right down the outside as they come to 3 out is running on very well, looks like Dream With Me, as they run up now with 2 left to jump, and it's Idaho Docks on the far side still there, trying hard as Elte to get on terms. In behind them is Risky Reef battling on, 2 or 3 lengths then to Brooklyn's Gold. Polar Red running on as Take Flight from a mile back, 1 left to jump though in the opener on National Day, and Risky Reef has come there cruising, jumps it on the inside a little bit awkwardly. Faller there, Take Flight, Never was slightly hampered when running on, but it's Risky Reef on the far side fighting it out with Elte. It's Risky Reef and Elte with 100 yards left to go. It's Ruby Walsh on Risky Reef who's getting the upper hand now, and Risky Reef is going to go on and win it from in second Elte, and third then Brooklyn's Gold. Edmo Heights is 4th, then in 5th is Idaho Docks from New Hall. Howardeth behind them from Never, and then Dream With Me. Further back then is Non So, followed by Polar Red, and then Full Irish, then Chevy Girl, Maragun, followed by Mr. McGoldrick, Per Amore, and Mythical King is one of the last to finish. And up on his feet and walking away, Charlie Swan from that heavy fall. at the last flight, Charlie Swan's last day of riding, and came to grief there at the last, but he walks away. And here are the final placings on the opener, the Cordon Bleu handicap hurdle. First, number 12, that's Risky Reef. Risky Reef, a winner for Ireland, starting Grand National Day. Risky Reef is owned by Ergon Syndicate, trained by Andrew Lee in Ireland and ridden by Ruby Walsh. Second, number 17, Elte, owned by R.M. Jeffs and Jane Potter, trained by Richard Fahey and ridden by Hodge Whelan. And third, number 9, Brooklyn's Gold, owned by Terry Warner, trained by Ian Williams and ridden by James Davis. Fourth, number 19, Edmo Heights. Risky Reef the winner, and there's Charlie Swan. He's none the worse after that ride, and hopefully his last fall ever as a jockey under race conditions. But let's have a look now at the highlights of this opener, a thriller.
And as we join it, you can see that Idaho Docks is just in front. Skew, you need a good jump to stay here.
That's right, he got a fantastic jump at the 3 out, but it just wasn't there 2 out. But really, the winner, Risky Reef, and the second horse, the writing was on the wall turning into the straight, wasn't it? They were absolutely cantering. And you will see Charlie Swan in the blue with the yellow there. This is the last. He'll turn over in a minute. Good jump by, well, not a great jump, but he just flicked the top there, hasn't he?
Picked up plenty early enough.
Yeah, just held his one foot out. It's a horrible fall, actually. It's one of the worst that a jockey can have, because when it goes like that, you go down very, very quick.
Ruby Walsh riding for Andrew Lee here, and the Ergon Syndicate are gelding by Risk Me. They like soft ground, the Risk Me's.
Yeah, Claire Boulding told me that she once had a share in Risky Reef, so I wonder if it's carrying her money today. But there is the third horse going past the line, was number 9, Brooklyn's Gold, to get the each way money. He was 16 to 1.
And Skewer must just say that Brooklyn Gold, ridden by James Davis, a big plus for him, who had a good ride over the big fences yesterday. Jim, you impressed?
Was indeed, Richard. Let's check these prices while we're waiting for the winner to come back in. Number 12, Risky Reef, the winner, at 20 to 1. Second, 17, Elte, quietly fancied. Strongly fancied, really, at 7 to 1. Third, number 9, Brooklyn's Goal, at 16 to 1. And fourth, 19, Edmo Heights, at 40 to 1.
Well, as we heard there from Scoop, Claire, you know that horse rather well then?
Yeah, I did. I used to own a share in him, along with Angus Loughran and Cornelius Lycett of 5 Live. We all were in a Parkhouse partnership. He was trained by my father, my brother, both of them. Won a couple of bad races on the flat. Really pleased for them. Wish I backed him at 20 to 1 and I didn't.
I know, great price. Talking of Andrew, he's got his first runner today, Gunnar Wellborn. What can we expect?
Well, honestly, I'm so excited for him, and I'm just really G'd up about it. The horse has got a great chance. Fingers crossed, he's going to get round.
May see you in the winner's enclosure again later on. Okay, Claire, thanks very much. Well, just before we move on, let's bring you up to date with some news from elsewhere. And first, we're going to concentrate on the boat race, where 2 sets of brothers will compete in the boat race for the first time after Cambridge drafted in Ben Smith as a late replacement. Smith, the younger brother of Oxford President Matthew, will replace the bowman Wayne Pommen, who broke his wrist after a collision in training. For that race, we heard from John White, who we said was the unluckiest jockey. He was riding Echoness 10 years ago in the National that never was. Well, Echoness was trained by Jenny Pittman, and 10 years before that, she made history once again by becoming the first woman ever to train a Grand National winner. Now, over the past few days, we've been asking you to send in your votes to see national winners, and so many of you have voted for this one, including Frances McBride of Edinburgh, who said she wants to see the finish again. But from a woman's point of view, it was great that Jenny Pittman became the first female trainer to win a national. So for Francis and so many of you who voted, here's Corbier's victory in 1983.
I'm not a woman's liver, but it's always nice to be the first to do something. If I'm an old grandma and I've got my grandchildren coming round to me and my boys said to them, oh, you know, your granny was the first woman to train a national winner, then that would give me a lot of pride, yes.
And they're away.
Foot hard on the accelerator.
They're away to a roar from the crowd.
Flat down until you get to the Melling Road.
Running down towards the Melling Road, Delmos and Corbiere are the first 2 to make it.
Jenny's number 1 contender, Corbiere, managed to avoid the traditional melee at the first, where fallers included Geraldine Rees and a very athletic Richard Rowe.
The
they're coming towards the chair now. And over that one, it was still Del Moss.
By the second circuit, Corbière and Hello Dandy headed affairs, though racing wide apart, determined not to get in each other's way.
As they come down to Beaches for the second time, and it's Hello Dandy who's in front from Colonel Christian. Corbière right on the inside, and they jump Beaches. Hello Dandy, Corbière, Colonel Christie. Grease Paint a slight mistake.
Despite that mistake, Grease Paint proved to be the main challenger.
Coming to the final fence now. Corbière in the lead from Grease Paint, your man. And Hello Dandy, Corbière by 3 lengths from Grease Paint. Then comes your man, then Hello Dandy. They're racing towards the elbow in the National. And it's Corbière ridden by 23-year-old Bender Hahn, who's clear at the moment of Grease Paint in second, your man third, fourth is Hello Dandy, and it's Corbière with a furlong to run in the National, being pressed by Grease Paint. Grease Paint putting in a tremendous run for Ireland, ridden by Mr. Colin Magnier. It's Grease Paint on the near side, beginning to get up as they race towards the line. It's Corbière from Grease Paint, and Corbière's won it. Corbière's the winner from Grease Paint.
Honestly, I think I'm dreaming, I really do. I really don't think it's real. It's amazing.
Well, that was a sensational story. A female trainer, Jenny Pittman, the first woman ever to win the Grand National, and it could happen again this year. Henrietta Knight has taken back-to-back Gold Cups with Best Mate, and she's got an outstanding chance in the Grand National as well, with 3 runners in the race. Well, Sue Barker went down to meet her and her husband, Terry Biddlecombe, who's something of an odd couple.
About the sort of recent publicity that the two of you had since Cheltenham, affectionately being called the king and queen of racing, or the odd couple.
The odd couple, I think that's probably more appropriate.
Might be right there.
We are fairly different in our backgrounds and in our sort of attitudes, really, aren't we?
Attitudes, maybe so, but I mean, what's the difference?
But we have a common interest. We both want to do the best for our horses and win races with our horses, and we love being here with training the horses. And
well, you're a
we
chef
love
to
each other.
keep. You've done your eventing, I've done my racing, so we've got a little bit in common.
We've got horses in common, and we argue like mad.
Do we?
And it probably is why we do get on, because we do discuss everything.
Sleepy?
Oh, it's fresh.
Good. So we should be.
We have the same eye for what we think is the horse we want, and we both agree, is surprisingly enough, what we want to buy, don't we?
Yeah, we see a horse, and then look at me, and I look at her, I said, well, I'll shake my head. And she'd nod, and I'd nod, whatever, you know. So we know what we're looking at. We don't use agents, we do it ourselves.
Terry's got a very good eye for a horse, and of course he
What about
rode plenty of them, and he knows what it's like to ride a good racehorse.
This is my pet. It's called Red Blazer. He's the oldest in the yard, but we can't get rid of him. You are a naughty boy, aren't you?
She's absolutely brilliant. She's dedicated, immaculate in the yard. Everything's got to be positioned, different bridles, different bits for any horse. Wonderful lot of staff we got. Sort of the people we work with. I mean, it's a unit.
Teamwork.
Teamwork. I mean, it's magic how it works.
And keep him out of the office. That's my motto. Nightmare in the office. Nightmare. Anything to do with bookwork. Anything to do with planning where the races are. And heaven forbid that I ever had been, but I wouldn't know which of the horses I would rather ride round Aintree. Probably Chives.
Well, it's been lovely to talk to you, and I hope that the next time we meet, it'll be in the Winners' Enclosure at Aintree after the National, and another emotional reunion.
Quite right, why not? It'd be great, wouldn't it?
It would be wonderful. I can't believe that really could ever happen, but keep dreaming.
Yes, we'll be there.
It will be an emotional day regardless, and from one trainer with a great record to the trainer with the best of all, the champion trainer Martin Pipe. They are wonderful for racing, real characters, aren't they?
Thank you, Sue. Yes, they're real characters. It's great for Hen, great for Terry, and great for racing. It's a great horse, it really is, and great fun.
Now, what about you? Because 2 years ago you had a quarter of the field, you had 10. Last year you had 8. You've only got 7 this time.
I know, I'm down on numbers this year, only 7, but it's nice to have the 7 runners. Very tough, competitive race, a really exciting race, the Martel Cognac Grand National. Iris Bleu, a very nice horse. I think that's probably the best one of ours.
Yeah, and that's the pick of Tony McCoy. There was no question that he might choose Blowing Wind, who's been third for the past 2 years.
Yes, he's been a bit disappointing this season, Blowing Wind. I don't know why, but he comes to himself when he sees the Aintree fences. A great ride for young Tom Scudamore. Difficult choice, really. And also Royal Pradika down the bottom. That's got a low weight, of course, 10 stone 2. Young Jamie Moore rides that, so that will be an exciting ride for him.
Just 18 years of age, and I mean, last week it didn't look like he was going to be here, did it?
No, that's right. He's had a tremendous weekend and rode 5 or 6 winners, I think it was, straight off. Really was very exciting for him and a great thrill for him. And of course we've got Royal Pradika, Burloo, Polar Champ, lots of chances.
Yeah, it makes a busy day for you, though. How do you spend your day here, having to cope with 7?
Well, I make my son work and the staff, so I'm very lucky. We managed to cope with everything.
And who walks the course? Because you tell me you don't.
Well, I'm a little bit lame, to put it mildly, so I have to get my son to do that. But I say it's riding faster today, so it's better ground today.
And you say you fancy Iris Bleu's chance. I mean, everyone's going to put money on it. It's got Tony on board, the champion jockey. What is special about him?
He jumps and stays. He's been here before. Nice, big, strong French horse. I think he should give Tony a great ride. But of course, it's an impossible race to win, to forecast. Some very good horses in it this year, of course. Barry Geraughty, the top weight. But don't forget we've got You're a Good in the race as well. Yes. Iris Bleu, You're a Good and Shotgun Willie, they all practically dead heated at Haydock in a good race there, so they should all finish thereabouts together, really.
Mm-hmm. OK, well, I've got to say, it was a surprise for Tony because his mother is here today. Did he know that? Because she's never been to a British racecourse before.
I didn't know that, so the pressure's on. Pressure's on me as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
Pressure's on all of us, Sue.
She'll be coming looking for you, Martin.
The pressure's on all of us, so we'll do our best.
I'm sure you will. Thanks very much. Enjoy the day as best you can. We're talking of Mrs. McCoy. Let's find out, because Craig, I believe, is giving her a tour, her first tour of Aintree.
It's more glamorous than I expected.
But you must recognise that area there, the winners
yeah.
Look at that. That's where you hope to meet Tony later on anyway, right? Well, do you want me to give you the real jitters?
Why?
Shall we go and have a look at the course? Come on, we'll have a little peep. Welcome to Aintree.
Oh my God. But it's beautiful, isn't it?
Isn't it wonderful?
Absolutely gorgeous.
Oh my word, look at the size of the place.
I can remember on the way home then I sort of said to him, you know, Anthony, this is what you've chosen to do. Is it what you want to do? And he said, oh, I want to be a brain surgeon, but I don't have the brains. So that was it. And I suppose, looking back, it was some career move, wasn't it?
Well, I tell you what, I know he's watching this at the moment, and you didn't really get a chance to talk to him earlier. So I don't know if you want to just say hello to him there and give him a message, because I know you ring him before most race meetings, don't you?
Oh, I normally do, and I haven't been speaking to him this week. So just good luck is all I have to say to him.
She says good luck, your mother.
Yeah, I think I'll need it.
She wouldn't have watched you very often, now would she?
No, she doesn't. She's very good because she kind of knows. You know, I speak to her nearly every day, but during Cheltenham after I got the fall, she didn't ring me for a couple of days. I think she knew just to leave me alone, and then she rang me. She rang someone to find out that it was all right. My dad was there, and when she knew that, then she just left me alone. So she's very good like that. She knows me very well, obviously.
And the sad thing is, she was not meant to know. You weren't meant to know that she was coming here.
No,
and who was the first person she bumped into? You. And what did you say to her?
I said something like, I said, no, you were coming here. She said, oh. And I genuinely didn't know. I knew she'd said to me a couple of weeks ago that she'd been asked to do it and she wasn't going to do it. but she was obviously told to tell me that she wasn't going to do it.
I think you told her to get her makeup fixed because I talked to her earlier and that's
Yeah,
what
did
you
I?
said. Yeah,
No.
you rude so-and-so.
I never did. Nah.
When you were growing up, though, was she happy to sort of let you get on with being an errant schoolboy?
Oh,
You were never
absolutely
there,
not.
were you?
Absolutely hated the fact that I wasn't going to school. Told my dad that he could take all responsibility for it, that if anyone came looking for him, and I suppose whenever I didn't go to school and the attendance officer did come to school, my dad wasn't there, so she got the rap. But no, she didn't mind. She knew I went off to Willie Rocks and did my bit, and I think after a while I was doing it so often that she just said, oh well, he's not going to go to school, so I'll just leave him off.
And can she sort of believe now that you've been as successful as you are?
I don't know, I suppose, you know, I don't really look back and think that I know I've been really successful, but at the same time I know that there's a lot of things that I've yet to achieve, like winning the Grand National, so it's one of those things you just got to keep trying, keep it going all the time. And I'm not one of them people that looks back and say, God, I rode 2 winners on Thursday. I look back and say I didn't ride any winners on Friday, and I haven't rode any today. So
now, what about your chances in the Grand National? You picked Iris Blur on the basis of what?
On the basis that he's improved, he put up a very good performance in the Mile May Castle at Sandown. He ran very well. He was only beaten a neck by Shotgun Willie. On that form, he's got a very good chance. He did fall at the 5th, I think, with Paul Maloney last year. But I got a very good ride off him the year before in the John Hughes. He finished 5th or 6th behind Binder Regis, actually finished just in front of him. So obviously, like every other horse, if he jumps well, I think he's got an obvious chance, and I think he'll stay well. He goes on the ground, and I could be doing him in the Grand National, so hopefully it'll be him.
And you're all over the front page of the Racing Post, so everybody's backing him as well. But I know you're a competitive so-and-so, and you want to win, and you hate the fact that you haven't yet won this race. But can you enjoy it, actually, when it's in progress? Do you enjoy the thrill of jumping those fences?
I rode Exit Swing around yesterday, and myself and Paul Carvin, I was saying it's the best feeling in the world when you get a horse that actually takes you there and jumps and does it. No matter how good a jockey you are, you need the horse to help you, and you need the horse to be able to do it himself. Exit Swinger was brilliant thrill. And when you get round like that, even if you finish third, it's still very exciting. What you don't want is a horse that doesn't jump very well, and you know that there's a fair chance that you're not going to get him round. The excitement sort of goes in a little bit, but you don't know there till you go out there. And I'm looking forward to it, and obviously you get very excited by it.
Well, I hope you have a great ride. And just to let you know, Manchester United now are leading 3-0 against Liverpool at Old Trafford.
That's a shame.
3-0 to Manchester United, I'm hearing, Jamie. Probably not good news as an Arsenal fan.
No, it's not, but I still think we've got to play Villa and hopefully we can get back on top that way.
May all change later this afternoon. Now, Jamie Moore, 18 years of age in your first national. Nervous today? Be honest.
Not too bad, just got to try and treat it like a normal race, really.
Is that possible?
Well, I hope it is, yeah. So.
Now, talk about yesterday, because you did have your first go over the national fences. Didn't work out too well, did it?
No, it didn't work out well at all. The horse just saw the fence for the first time, and she just panicked and just completely stepped at it, really, and maybe I should have stayed on, but fell off, so hopefully better luck today.
Unhurt, though?
No, I'm fine, so, yeah.
And what about Royal Pradika as well? What about him?
Well, he seems a different horse this year. He won well in the Kim Muir at Cheltenham. That was over 3 miles. He jumped round here last year, finishing 8th. So he jumps around the track. Hopefully he'll stay well. Just see how we go.
Has been an amazing story, though. Amazing last week for you. A treble on Saturday, a treble on Monday. Must be a dream come true.
Yeah, well, it was a dream come true. Just everything just seemed to fall right, really. I couldn't believe it for myself, but everything just went okay, and now I'm here, so...
Yeah, and of course, come from a big racing family. Is your dad coming today, Gary Moore?
Yeah, he's come up today, yeah, which is nice to know, but all the rest, they've all stayed at home, so they're watching on telly.
Who's given you the advice today, then, Dad or Martin or Tony?
Everyone has, you know. Everyone in the weighing room up and annoying them, asking them what to do. So.
Well, you enjoy the day. Good luck. Thanks very much, Jamie. So I know that John Parrott is somewhere here in Aintree out and about. Let's catch up with him now.
Well, plenty of celebrities out and about. Here we are with some of the cast members from Hollyoaks. And Nick, is this a regular occurrence for you?
It is, yeah. I moved to Liverpool about 8 years ago, and my family come up from London every year to visit me. So yeah, and they love it. And don't know nothing about
horses, though.
And of course, your ticket allocation's gone up a little bit in the last few years, hasn't it?
Yeah, I started off asking the fella for a couple of tickets about 4 years ago. Dick on White, lovely fella, I have to mention him. And now it's gone up to 20 now.
So what's your selection for the race?
You're a good one I'll go for, because it's, I'm a Cockney boy, it sounds good.
Well done, mate. Elise, you've been studying very, very hard there. Have you decided on a winner yet?
I think I'm going to go for Shotgun Willie.
Why is that?
Now I like the name.
Well, that seems as good enough as anything. You've probably got as much a chance as anybody else.
Exactly. I've never been before, so it's I'm new at this.
Well, you'll probably be a winner. It usually happens that way. And Michaela, you are very big into your sport. I know that. Have you been studying hard for this race?
No, the only thing I'm not good at is horse racing, but I want to go for Bunny Boiler because I just think it's a hilarious name.
Now, I do happen to know that you do like your snooker as well. And I'm going to, because the World Championships is coming up soon, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you for the winner of the World Championships. Who is it?
Well, I'm very loyal. It's got to be Stephen Hendry. Please.
Not me.
Please. No, I'd love you to, and I would actually be really pleased if you won, but I want Stephen Hendry to make a comeback because he's just amazing.
Oh, thanks very much for that, Michaela.
Trust him to be with the celebrities, but then so am I. I've been joined by Charlie Swan, and Charlie, we saw earlier about the emotional sort of presentation there, because this is your final day as a jockey. So has it sunk in yet?
Not really. I couldn't believe the lads because I didn't know anything about it. I was wondering why Ruby told me that I was wanted outside. When I got out there, I was looking for somebody and there was nobody here, but they'd all arranged, so it was very nice of them.
Yeah, but it didn't work too well for you in the first race, though, did it?
No. Typical when you say you're retiring, you should probably wait till you get it come off your last horse before you do it. But anyway.
But you're all right. You're unhurt.
I'm fine, not a bother.
Yeah, but it was wonderful yesterday. Emotional scenes here, wasn't it? Patriot Games winning.
It was, because he's a special little horse, because he's been injured a good few times. He's chip bone in his knee, plate in his leg, and he's broke down before. And he won on Derby Day 2 years ago for me as well. So he's a lovely horse, and he hadn't run for 6 months. So it was special. Unfortunately, he'll never race again. Even the two of us have to retire as well. So.
Oh dear, but it was wonderful because you train him as well. I mean, ride him and train him.
Yeah, and then for JP as well. So made it special.
Yeah, but of course the horse you will be associated with most is the Great Isterbrack. Just give an idea of what it is to ride a horse as great as Isterbrack.
Obviously it's a great thrill. He was such an easy horse to ride, and his jumping, I suppose, was his best part. I mean, when he won here in Liverpool, he was just amazing. I was 30 lengths off him down the back, and he picked them up so easy.
Do you remember that, just like yesterday?
I do, yeah.
The feelings.
Yeah, it was an amazing feeling, and he was a horse we always used to try to win as easy as we could, trying to get him to last. And he was just unlucky with the foot and mouth that year. Otherwise, he would have definitely done 4, I'd say. But
we've been looking at the record 9 times. It was a champion jockey in Ireland, 1,312 winners so far. But of course, you've got Like a Butterfly coming up. Is that going to make it 313?
Well, it'd be a fairy tale if she did, but I think I'm delighted what's happened so far. So as long as we get back safe, I'll be delighted, and I just hope she runs well for the connections.
And of course, now you're turning your attention sort of full time to training, huh?
That's right. I just felt that I was getting a little bit hard. I'm trying to get a bit classier type horse in the yard, and hopefully build the string up to about 60. And I just feel that the time is right, and hopefully we can go on from there.
We certainly wish you well for that. Can't let you go until you've got to pick a horse for the national. Who would you want to be on?
Well, obviously, I'd love to see You Never Walk Alone win. But I think a great outsider.
Is that because JP owns it?
Well, JP owns it, and Conor rides it, and Christy trains it. But if there was an outsider, I think I'd love to see David Casey win it on Greg House. I think he's a good chance at 100-1. Great chance.
Well, thanks for the advice, and thank you for joining us, and enjoy the day, and I hope it ends on a winner. Thanks very much, Charlie. So we're going to move on, continue our build-up a little bit later on, but now we're ready for our second race of the day, the Martel Maggle Novices Steeplechase. Here's Jim with the runners and riders.
Thanks, Sue, and plenty of action, sporting action here on Merseyside today. They're the twin cathedrals there in Liverpool, and Anfield in the background, where Man U were leading 3-0 the last I heard. Let's check the runners and riders in our Martel Novices Chase. 1, Impact and Jim Cullity. 2 is Rathcar Bow, Barry Geraughty. 3, Taisu, Mick Fitzgerald, and 4, Leroy Miguel, Ruby Walsh. And completing the field right down the bottom, another Paul Nichols trained runner, Vol Solitaire, Joe Tizard. They're the 5 runners for the Martel Novices Chase, and here's the betting.
Well, this is a race where the favourite Impact has badly drifted since the market opened. Opened very early, 11 to 10, now 13 to 8. The Juan Miguel is 2 to 1 from 9 to 4. Vol Solitaire is 130 from 7 to 2. Rathgar Bow is 9 to 1 from 12 to 1. And Taisu is 14 to 1, having opened up at 12. Impact 13 to 8, then having opened up at 11 to 10. It's still unsure who's going to be national favourite, with You'll Never Walk Alone still 2 to 1 favourite with Paddy Power for that market, although they have in the last few minutes laid Iris Blur as a contender to be favourite. They've still got Ad Hoc plenty short enough, and I still think it could be Chives, who's their current second favourite, who might end up being the market leader. There's also been support for Barry 25 to 1's very popular Barry. That's been become the first horse to win on its actual date of birth to winning the Grand National. So a birthday win for Barry. Could that be possible? It's the top one, number 1.
Yeah, there's the famous colours of Mr. Jim Lewis. He's already got Gold Cup winners and 2 Mile Champion Chase winners to his name. Can this horse emulate those great horses of Best Mate, etc.? This horse, I think, should win. I mean, he's the best form. The only thing he is drifting a little bit in the betting. I suppose people thinking perhaps he had a hard race at Cheltenham last month, and that may have knocked the edge off him, but he looks extremely well in the paddock. You can see there he's shining in his coat. Henrietta Knight, who trains him, her horses are running well. She's very considerate with her horses. I doubt if she's been too hard on him at home, and despite the fact that he's drifting in the betting and the market might be trying to tell me something, he's still my pick for the race.
Okay, well, let's move on then and have a look here of the colours of number 2, Rathgar Bow, trained by Dusty Sheehy, a grand man from Ireland. Now, this horse is really moving well here at the trot. Barry Geraughty on board. He's 8 to 1 from 9. This is the one they are backing. Now, looking at it, all his wins have been in heavy or yielding or soft. Now, I know that there's been well watered, this course, and quite rightly so, and that may just help this horse, but there's a definite market move for him, and Dusty Sheehy, it's his only runner at the meeting.
It's interesting, Richard. I looked through these runners, 5 runners, 4 of them are French bred. It just shows the number of French horses that are being bought now and brought across the English Channel. They're usually very expensive, and this is, as you would expect, is one. Taiso, trained by Nicky Henderson. There's Mick Fitzgerald, his jockey, the far side. He's another one that's drifting, 14 to 1 from 12 to 1. A decent horse on his day. He's won 2 chases. He's a winner of 5 hurdle races. It's just, if the Henderson form was stable, were in good form, I think there would be more confidence behind this horse. But at the moment, I still can't see them beating Impact.
And news coming in, it is now 4-0 to Man U over Liverpool. 4-0. There's Nicky Henderson, looking cool, calm, collected. Ian Balding behind him, just admiring his clothes and seeing how much money he's got. As I've just mentioned, Ian Balding having a look at his glasses, make sure he knows what he's looking at. John Joe Neal behind there in the trilby. But here is Le Roi Miguel in the half colours, black and white. They're Judy Stewart's colours. He fell at Cheltenham, and he'd been behind Impact before that at Sandown, but he's a good horse, and I think this track will suit him. She's already had a winner here, Judy Stewart. And, of course, Paul Nicholls has one other runner in this, in Vol Solitaire.
Yes, I was down at Paul Nicholls' stable for a Grand National preview, which I hope we see later on, and I saw Le Roi Miguel, and they seem to be more stable confidence about that horse. Huge horse, Le Roi Miguel, but Vol Solitaire, I was just speaking to Paul earlier, and he said don't forget about this horse. There's very little bit difference between Le Roi Miguel and Vol Solitaire. I think they were hoping that the ground would be a little bit softer, but they've done a good watering job here, and I know Paul Nicholls has been one of those that's critical of that, but I think all credit to the ground staff, because it's perfectly safe ground.
This is a really good betting heat. The 13 to 8's just got 2 big, 6 to 4 Impact, 9 to 4 Bar, that's Le Roi Miguel. Rathgar Bow, very good support for that one, 8s from 12s.
And away they go. And Rathgar Bow, Barry Geraughty just back second last early. Impact's out the back early as they come to the first. Across fence, and Taisu's gone. Taisu has gone at the first, giving Mick Fitzgerald a pretty heavy fall there. He's due to ride Caterino later in the National, so we'll just have to check back and see how he is. He's up on his feet okay, and has walked away none the worse as they come into the home straight now and head towards the first of 3 here. Vol Solitaire in front from Le Roi Miguel. Then over on the far side is Rathgar Bow. And behind them, 2 or 3 lengths away, Impact. Heading up to this open ditch in front of the stands, Vol Solitaire, a bit careful, and joined by Le Roi Miguel, Ruby Walsh over on the far side. Bit more rain though from Joe Tizard, and Vol Solitaire goes on to lead his stablemate here. Vol Solitaire from Le Roi Miguel. Behind them is Impact and then Rathgarbeau as they start to group up and head over the 4th. Got a circuit to go. Very experienced bunch of riders here. All of them have got rides in the Grand National later this afternoon. Out in front, Vol Solitaire, Joe Tizard, who will be aboard Monty. I'm pleased to say Tai Su has taken no harm from the fall either. Is galloping riderless to the stable area. In second down the back is Le Roi Miguel, Ruby Walsh, who will be aboard Shotgun Willie. Followed further back then by Jim Cullity on Impact. In third, he rides Maximize, and Barry Geraughty is on Rathgarbeau. He'll be aboard Monty's Pass. Heading down the back now, the first one there, and Vol Solitaire is the first to rise. All jump it well. Between them, they've had 22 Grand National rides, the 5 riders who set off on this 2-mile journey. So a pretty experienced bunch. Vol Solitaire nearest the camera, first to rise from Le Roi Miguel. Then Impact, and as they bunch right up, Rathgarbeau just breathing down their necks as they continue their journey towards the open ditch on the far side. Vol Solitaire steadied. Le Roi Miguel absolutely bolting nearest the camera, red sleeves and cap going well. Out wider, Impact is picked up well for Jim Cullity, and Rathgarbeau behind them as they jump the next. That was 5 out as they prepare to leave the back now. Not much between them. 3 lengths between first and last, and Vol Solitaire, Joe Tizard out in front by a length to Le Roi Miguel in second. Then in third is Impact, and behind them Rathgarbeau as they head now to the cross fence, which is 4 out. Vol Solitaire and Le Roi Miguel, and behind them Rathgarbeau is gone. Rathgarbeau is gone. Barry Geraughty taking the fall there at the same fence that Tai Su went on the first circuit. As they round the corner, 3 left, Vol Solitaire and his stablemate Le Roi Miguel, and Barry Geraughty up on his feet, and Rathgarbeau looks okay as well as standing up. As they head now to 3 out, and Le Roi Miguel put in a mighty leap there and bounced straight into the lead from Vol Solitaire. 3 or 4 lengths away then is Impact in third as they come to the open ditch, which is the second last. Jumping it well, Le Roi Miguel goes 3 or 4 lengths in front of Vol Solitaire and Impact, and 1 left to jump, and Le Roi Miguel is careering away for Ruby Walsh. He's already won the first. Let's see if he can make it 2 out of 2 on National Day. It's Le Roi Miguel on the far side, 8 lengths in front, coming to the last, jumps it like a stag, lands over it well clear of Vol Solitaire and Impact, and Le Roi Miguel, Ruby Walsh, a double on Grand National Day, and a double for the week for Judy Stewart and Andy Stewart. Coming home in their colours, Le Roi Miguel wins it well by 12 lengths or so. Photo for second between Vol Solitaire and Impact. But what a start for the meeting for Ruby Walsh, who's chosen to ride Shotgun Willie in the Grand National later today. He had the choice between that one and Ad Hoc. And here he is winning on Le Roi Miguel. The winner is number 4, Le Roi Miguel, owned by Mrs. Judy Stewart, trained by Paul Nicholls and ridden by Ruby Walsh. Second is number 5. It's official now. That's number 5, Vol Solitaire, owned by BC Marshall, trained by Paul Nicholls and ridden by Joe Tizard. Third, number 1, Impact, owned by Jim Lewis, trained by Henrietta Knight and ridden by Jim Cullity. And they were the only finishers, 1, 2 and 3. The other 2, Tai Su and Rathgarbeau, both went at the same fence but on different circuits. That was the cross fence over on the far side.
Well, let's just review this now. The very first fence, Tai Su goes. Just look at him there. Mickey Fitz is taking back in third place, taking him back. There was no stride there, sloppy jump, and I'm afraid paid the penalty. Rathgarbeau just narrowly avoiding him. Nicky Henderson, I can't read his lips, but I think there was a swear word among them.
Yeah. Horse wasn't really concentrating at the fence, was he? Wasn't looking. Let's have a look.
Now the same fence the next time down, he got in too close, and the fence just tipped him up.
Sometimes when you can be racing at them, can't you, and you didn't get into trouble. Well, look, Paul Nicholls told me earlier in this week that this would win, and I changed my mind and went for it. Impact, he was totally right.
What a jump that. He came up half a stride early. Now, this is the second winner of the week for Judy Stewart. I saw her husband, Andy, who is a real big fan earlier on. He was smiling then. They'll be smiling now. But this is huge. Look at his head. It's as big as a bucket, Skip.
Yeah, he's a massive horse. We did say beforehand, massive horse, and 67 to 1 double for Ruby Walsh. There's Paul Nicholls. Yes, well done, Paul. He's Graham Roach, the owner of Shotgun Willie, there, shouting him home as well and giving him a hug. That's the whole, of course, Paul Nicholls team there. One of the Richard Barber, whose brother is very much involved with the training, was stood there on the right. But Jim, Ruby Walsh is in very good form for the big race.
Well, what a boost it is for him, Skew, on Grand National Day to ride the first two winners. Rowan Miguel at 9-4, Vol Solitaire 100-30 there. Distance, the winning distance 11 lengths if you're backing distances today. This is a very famous walk back to the winner's enclosure, as we all know. And the two police horses that accompany the winner traditionally are in place once again today, giving the winner the escort right down behind the grandstands into the winner's enclosure. Let's have a look now at the SPs.
The Juan Miguel wins, the 9-4 second favourite, and must be a leading contender for next year's big Queen Mother Champion Chase at Cheltenham. Paddy Power got 8-1, and that might well be popular. Second, number 5, Vol Solitaire at 100-30. Third, number 1, Impact, who went out very quickly, the 6-4 favourite. The Juan Miguel, a big boost for Paul Nicholls, and of course Shotgun Willie, Ad Hoc, and Monty Fouter, the Grand National runners for that trainer. Ruby Walsh on Shotgun Willie, and that's one of the leading contenders as well. 9-4 second favourite.
Well, now let's confirm the football news from early today, and that match at Old Trafford is now a result. It's finished Manchester United 4, Liverpool 0. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer getting the 4th goal for United in the 90th minute. So it means that for the moment that at the top of the Premiership it is Manchester United. However, that could change later on this afternoon because Arsenal will take on Aston Villa at Villa Park. And in the bottom half of the table, Bolton winners today over Manchester City by 2-0. Well, they have moved up a couple of places there. We're now back to the Grand National, and if you can't pick the winning horse, well, what about picking the winning trainer? Paul Nicholls had 1 and 2 in that last race, and he is the favourite to be the winning trainer of the National. He has 5 horses running, including 2 of the anti-post favourites. Well, we sent Scoo along to get close up and personal with Ad Hoc and Shotgun Willie.
The early morning mist in Somerset, and the start of another day for the 2 anti-post favourites in the Grand National betting. Shotgun Willie and Ad Hoc both hail from the yard of trainer Paul Nicholls. The bookies can't separate them, so I went down to Manor Farm in a bid to make up my own mind and discovered a stable split down the middle. Shotgun Willie or Ad Hoc?
Shotgun Willie.
Ad Hoc.
Shotgun Willie.
Ad Hoc. Jockey Ruby Walsh, a national winner on Papillon 3 years ago, had the choice of rides and plumped for Shotgun Willie.
Very close decision. I mean, they've both been trained for the races, for the race all season. They both, you know, got their own respective chances. Close one. It wasn't really a toss of a coin, you know, talking it over with Ruby. You know, just slightly, and I mean very slightly, came out in favour of Shotgun. And I think it would have been a hard decision.
Paul Carberry, who rode Bobby Joe to glory in 1999, rides Ad Hoc, who looked a potential national winner last year until brought down by David's lad, 4 fences from home.
He was obviously going to have a great chance, and anyway, it all ended in one foul swoop. That's the race. You know, that's what happens. You need an awful lot of luck until you jump the last. You don't really know you're in with a chance.
Shotgun Willie, meanwhile, staked his claim at Haydock last month, beating Eurogooden, Iris Blur and Binderee.
What a performance, Shotgun Willie. He's going to win it. What a great performance at a great Grand National trial.
But the trainers leading 2 have little in common, as I discovered when I rode out with head lad Cliff Baker.
This is a much shorter, I mean, less athletic in many ways than that horse. I mean, that's like riding a huge, powerful motorbike, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't ride Shotgun very often, but sitting on him this morning, I can see they're 2 totally different horses. I mean, this horse got a lot longer action, Ad hoc's much more short coupled, a shorter action, which might just suit him round over the big fences.
If I was just here this morning and said, right, haven't seen the form book, don't know what weight they've got, let's see which is the fastest up the gallop, you'd ride him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think you possibly would. But like you say, you know everything more or less about them, both form-wise and all that. But you probably edge towards Ad Hoc because he is the shorter coupled horse, and you think he'd probably jump a tiny bit better. Small horses find it slightly easier to put in a short stride if they have to, and they're more bouncy, and they sort of more like rubber balls.
Nichols has 3 other horses in the race. Fidolko, last year's Fox Hunter winner Tour de Express, and Monty, the latter expected to go well.
Monty has just come back to form, very pleased with his run at Newbury. He'll have fast ground, jumps well, stay forever, 10 stone, 2's an attractive weight.
Nichols doesn't have a great record in the race. 14 of his last 15 runners have failed to finish, but he has never had an entry as strong as this before.
It'd be nice to chase one into the winners enclosure instead of round the course afterwards, but I think if they jumped the last together, Ad Hoc and Shotgun, then it would be very close. I think with Ruby, we'll see who made the right choice then.
Walking around the yard here, getting the feeling from all the staff, and riding the horse myself, I would have chosen Ad Hoc. He's a neat, tidy little horse. He's been round there once already, or nearly round there until he got brought down. I think he has the right credentials to run a very, very big race.
So Scoot's gone with Ad Hoc. We'll find out if he's right later on this afternoon. But John Parrott, he's out and about. He was with celebrities last time. Who's he found now?
Yes, I'm with obviously former rider and now trainer Chris Grant, who rode round here the national fences. Great success. Never quite managed to win, Chris, but some great rides you had here.
Yeah, I had some great rides around. Had 3 seconds. Second twice in third edition, and second horse called Young Driver. Never won it, but so close, but yes, so far.
He was a gallant old horse, wasn't he, Durham edition? He was Arthur Stevenson's, wasn't he? And he was an absolutely cracking horse. Unfortunately, just couldn't quite get there, could he?
No, that's right. He was a grand old horse, and he loved this place. And I think the year we were second to Mr. Frisk, that year, I thought if ever he was going to win it, was going to be that year. It was fast ground, which he liked. We knocked something like 14 seconds off the track record that year. It was a crazy time, and but it just wasn't to be.
Yeah. Now, the jockeys themselves, how will they be feeling before this race comes up?
Well, with the National, you always get a buzz about the National, I mean, the lads that have been around before, and have had good rides around, they're revved up. Because it's a one-off thing, the lads that are having the first time rides, well, obviously they're sort of the unknown to them, you know what I mean? Yeah. But there's a lot of buzz in there, there'll be a lot of crack and a lot of G.
Quickly, what would you tip the winner for this year?
That's a hard one. Probably I heard somebody on about Monty's Pass, the Irish horse earlier on. That'll do for me.
Thanks, Chris.
Cheers.
Well, here is the man in form, the jockey in form at any rate. Ruby Walsh has ridden the first 2 winners. I think your arms are a little longer after that, though.
Yeah, he didn't give me much help early on. He was fairly free, but he's good and brave, jumps like a stag. And if he would settle, he'd be a top-class horse. I'm just as happy now he led down the third in the Arkle, or he wouldn't have made a Zertier really go. But yeah, he's a very good horse too.
And it must fill you with confidence, though, riding so well and having 2 winners already.
Yeah, he had to get in the rubber to green so far. I mean, your luck has to run out at some stage, but should we keep going while our luck is in?
Well, what about Shotgun Willie then?
Yes, I hope he has an outstanding chance. Obviously, the National is the National. You have to get down over the first couple and get into position, and if you face out in the second socket, you have a chance. But if he's still going at that stage, he has his chance.
And you love riding in this race. I mean, you've got a great record in this as well.
Yeah, very lucky. Hopefully, he'll keep going today, but for the National is the National.
I'll let you go and join him with the presentation. Ruby's got to get on his way. He rode a winner for his father. So too did the man next to me now, Paul Carberry. What have you done to your hair?
I don't know, I'm just having a bad hair day.
You've done this for a bet or something, haven't you?
No, we don't know how that is, and I just decided to get it done for the crack. I didn't get time to change it back yet.
You see, normally he has dark brown hair, and just put your head forward, right forward. That's not a good colour.
No, I know it's not. But whatever. I'll have the helmet on, so I'll be grand.
Now, I don't think you saw the piece earlier, but Peter Scudamore went down to Paul Nicholls' yard and rode out both Shotgun Willie and Ad Hoc, and he said if he had had the choice, he'd have chosen Ad Hoc, the horse you ride, rather than the one Ruby's chosen.
I think he's an outstanding chance. Very unlucky last year to get brought down to 4th last. Thought he was travelling very well. Know he had a good bit to go at that stage, but who can tell?
How much did you talk to Ruby in the run-up to him making the decision? Because he had first choice, and he's a good mate of yours, and you've got lots in common.
Just sort of Cheltenham we were on about, I was asking what were you going to ride, because I knew if he was riding Shotgun Willie that I'd have a chance of riding him. So he was sort of always siding for Shotgun Willie, I think.
And Paul, you're renowned as a very stylish jockey. You ride a bit shorter than the others and you sit almost like a flat jockey perched on top of them. Do you just let your leathers down a little bit for the National?
No, not usually. Usually ride what I'm comfortable at and used to. There's no point in changing what you're used to, so...
And you sit as quiet as you can?
Yeah, it's the best way. Don't let them do their job and I'll just sit with them.
Yeah, well, best of luck to you. Let's hope you avoid other fallers. That's the key this year.
Yeah,
okay, good luck, Paul.
Thank you.
Now, everyone has a different way of picking a winner. They study the form, they get the pin out, they bet on a jockey with blonde hair. But for Liverpool and Celtic fans, there is only one winner today, and that is You'll Never Walk Alone.
Don't get on the gate, don't get on the gate.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky and the sweet silver song of love. Walk on, with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk
Well, no one would be happier to hear that anthem here at the Winners' Enclosure than the owner, J.P. McManus. But there was some doubt about his participation here.
Well, early in the week we were concerned about the ground and we were afraid that maybe the ground might be a bit quick for him, and he's a horse that needs to be able to put a print in the ground to give it his best. So we came here, Christy saw the ground, he was delighted with the job they'd done, and it's all systems go.
Yes, and the reports that the jockeys are giving us coming back, it's still got a bit of give in it today, which is good news.
Yeah, I'm sure there's still a little bit of juice in it. I'd say it's perfect ground, and I'd say you'd have to compliment Liverpool and the ground staff for the great job they've done on it.
But you were saying that you maybe think that this could be a bit too soon for the horse.
Well, you know, he's a second season novice. He's run in 3 handicap chases, so he hasn't as much experience of jumping the big ones as maybe you would hope for. But the horse, he's been learning all the way through the season and he's progressing. He came out of Cheltenham very well and decided to let him take his chance.
Have you had a bet on him?
No, I haven't had a bet on him. You know, I didn't go for any of the fancy prices because I was afraid it might influence my decision whether I'd run him or not. So I thought, best wait.
Yeah. You've had a wonderful meeting here. I mean, first goal on Thursday, 3 winners yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know where they came from. I didn't really expect them. I thought I might have a chance in the first yesterday, and the other 2 were really bonuses. You know, you get days like that you hope will never end.
Now listen, You'll Never Walk Alone. I know you didn't name the horse. That was the trainer Christy Roach that named. Is that right?
That's right. Christy named the horse and then suggested that I should buy it. And you know, Christy is a very big Liverpool supporter, and I knew the fact that he'd named him You'll Never Walk Alone. I didn't have to do any research.
But as a Manchester United shareholder, how do you feel about that?
Well, you know, I won't have any problem trying to sing it this afternoon if I have good reason.
You know, good news today, Manchester United 4-0, you know that already,
well,
don't you?
I heard they won 4-0, but for me this is the real event today.
Yeah, Manchester United shareholder though, I know, but don't your family support Arsenal?
Yeah, my wife and children are all big Arsenal followers, and you know, we had enough of things to fight about. Suddenly now we got football.
But you said it is such a special occasion. I mean, what does the National mean to you?
I think, you know, for as a child you always had a bob on something in the Grand National, and you know, the dream then of having a runner or been participating in any way, you know, you couldn't believe it possible then. And I am excited about having You'll Never Walk Alone, and I'm just hopeful that he runs a big race, and more importantly that he comes home safe.
Absolutely, we'll also that, but hopefully we'll see you in that winner's enclosure.
Well, that'd be very nice.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much, JP. Well, of course, if you haven't already made up your mind, we might be able to help you on that decision now. Here is, we'll have join Angus Loughran in the betting ring in just a moment. But as you can see here on National Day, I said at the top, 65,000 people have arrived here, and it's wonderful weather. The sun is shining. It couldn't be more perfect. And as we've heard from the jockeys who have taken part in the races so far, they're saying that the ground is good, better, so much better. They really have done a wonderful job here at the course. But of course many of you at home will be wanting to know who to bet on, so Angus has some more news for you.
Just a bit of fun for you now on the National. How do you go about picking your winner? Well, what about the first letter of the previous winners? Now, one little thing that our forecaster has revealed is a very interesting fact. You'll Never Walk Alone is a very popular selection with so many. But what about this? You'll Never Walk Alone is a Y, and 3 letters have never produced the winner of the Grand National. So You'll Never Walk Alone would have to defy 155 years of statistics. Well, there's also been good money for Irish Blur today, but interestingly, that's only won the National once. When you look at it, it was Ilex in 1890. The most popular letter, that's R. Obviously, we've had Grand National winners in the past, like Red Marauder and, of course, Red Rum, the multiple winner. So if you fancy R, you're looking at Red Striker as being a leading contender today, and, of course, Robbo, another one running for you. But the interesting thing is, no Y has ever won the Grand National. I wonder why that is.
Tell you a little story here, because this is a little bit unfair. Angus came into the meeting this morning and said, guess what, no horse with a U has ever won the Grand National before. And we all said, well, what's running with a U? And he said, You'll Never Walk Alone. We said, no, that's a Y, Angus. And he went, oh, checked his list again and said, no horse with a Y has ever won the Grand National. So he's still right. Anyway, what about Tony McCoy's mother, Claire, who is experiencing her first atmosphere of a Grand National, first time she's ever been racing in Britain? I think the nerves may be getting to her a bit.
I think seeing Tony out there has relaxed your nerves a wee bit.
I think it has. I didn't know how I'd feel watching it, but it is quite... It's easier to watch live than I imagined it to have been.
You're saying that it's easier watching it here than it is when you're at home on the sofa.
Well, I think it is.
How would he be feeling now? Obviously his mind's really focused probably on the big one. Does he have a process
well, I would
he goes
say
through?
he just focuses his mind on what he's riding and something like that there, and you definitely wouldn't want to be talking to him at this stage, you know. Or I wouldn't want to be interviewing him or anything like that.
Does he
Once racing begins, I would say that's it, the end of story.
Does he just block everything out?
Oh, I would say so. I would imagine so now.
What's he like after the race? Win or lose?
Well, I have never actually been, you know, well, I'd say they don't really have time to speak to anybody after a race, unless they probably meet them, but I wouldn't be ringing them or not immediately after the race.
It's a long build-up for him, isn't it? For all of the jockeys.
Well, I suppose it's a long build-up for them all.
And the mothers.
And the mothers, and the daughters, and the aunts, and all the relations.
Well, you know, you've probably got the best seat in the house. We're right opposite the finishing line here.
Haven't we just? It's absolutely gorgeous.
Are you going to look that way? Or are you going to look that way?
No, I think I'm okay with looking that way now. I think I'm okay.
Good, you can enjoy the race.
I noticed that you were watching it on the screen where I was sort of watching down the field.
Good stuff. So we can enjoy the race now.
We can enjoy the rest of it, hopefully.
Good on you.
Hope so as well. I wonder how she'll be feeling though in about an hour's time. But let's now find out why it is known as the world's greatest steeplechase. It is a massive test for horse and rider. 30 fences, 4.5 miles. Richard Pittman now takes us around the course.
The parade before the Grand National is agonising. It's 20 minutes long and jockeys just want to get on with it. Down at the start, all eyes are on that single take. Starter, please let it go. The roar of the crowd, it makes stragglers' minds up for them. Those who are going to go slow have no choice. And crossing the Melling Road, where the cinders come up under a horse's belly, it tightens them up. And then you see that first. You're going too fast. Oh, Lord, just let me see a bit of green. Can I have an open view of the first fence? We're all going far too fast. Some out of control. And the price is paid by some. It's a horrible sight to turn upside down here, and worse still, the feeling is awful to be out of it after only one jump. The second is a nice inviting fence, but we're still going too fast. We're still not in control of our horses. And the third is the first of the bogey fences, a big open ditch in front of it. Precision jumping is needed here. Over jumping and you fall on landing, too close you go in the ditch. But for the first time, with that one out of the way, jockeys really do start to settle. The fourth is a lovely inviting fence and doesn't take any problems jumping. And the fifth, pretty much the same, only 5 feet high. Over this, and you've a clear run down to Beechers. And what heralds the Beechers Brook for new jockeys is the hedge on the left-hand side. The fence looks very inviting going in, but there's that big drop on landing. And it claims many a horse who, unsuspectingly, are hoping the ground's there, and it's not. After Beechers, the converse is true. We go to Foynhaven, an innocuous fence, but horses are looking for the drop, it isn't there. It causes numerous problems. That's how it's got its name, Foynhaven. Now on to the Canal Turn, where good jockeys can really steal a lot of ground. You can, if you're brave, cut right across by the wing of the fence and save lengths here. It's a valuable lesson to learn, but also the runners can cause mayhem. We've seen it in the past. Valentine's Brook is the sister to Beechers, but not nearly as fearsome. It doesn't claim too many here. Up front, last year's winner, Binderee, and What's Up Boys on the outside. Just coming into the picture will be blowing wind. You need to be in this sort of position on the second circuit. The fence after Valentine's is quite inviting, but there are a couple of ditches to come in succession. 6-foot ditch, 5-foot fence. It's still pretty big, but we're over it safely. By now, one eye is on the next fence, one eye is on the grandstand. Again, it's a ditch on the takeoff and on the landing. And it's the second circuit where most trouble is caused here. But the jockeys know that once they cross the Anchorbridge Road, they're coming onto the racecourse proper, and they've only got 2 plain fences before the next bogey, the chair. Normally on good ground there'll be plenty of runners coming up here, and the fence is quite inviting. It's not too big, but you want to conserve energy. You don't want to hit fences hard at this stage. Now there's one more before the chair. Again, it's a fairly easy one to ride, but keep your head. Precision jumping is the order of the day here. You also have to look around you for loose horses, because when they go to the chair and see the ditch, they will start to run around. We're over this now. Concentrate hard. Pick your spot. Look for loose horses. But whatever you do, don't take your eye off that guardrail. Some stand off, others don't. Its fearsome reputation has been well earned over the years, but this is how to jump it properly. And it's a great thrill if you're still on the horse's back. Coming in front of the stands, the water jump is the 16th fence, and it rarely causes any problems. In fact, it's a real confidence booster to both horses and jockeys. And what a lovely feeling this is as you pass under what was the start on the first circuit. You've survived, you've hunted round. Now it's time to start playing jockeys, and you do it all over again. Binderee in the green colours had looked the winner from a long way out, but the grey What's Up Boys took up the running, and he's renowned for a strong finish. Could it be the first grey winner since 1961? But this long run-in has changed certain victories into defeats, and Binderee bravely fought back to win for Jim Cullity and Nigel Twiston-Davis. The year before, it was Richard Guest's turn. It's a race where emotions run high, and it makes grown men cry.
I think grown women cry as well, actually. I got tears in my eyes just thinking about it. But they've only got hurdles to jump in our next race. It's the Martel Cognac Aintree Hurdle. I'll tell you something lovely here. Charlie Swan is riding in his very last race in public on Like a Butterfly. And as he took the mare around the parade ring, he got a round of applause from the crowd. So I hope she runs well. But the 5-4 favourite in this is Rooster Booster. He's the one to watch. Richard Johnson is the man on board. He knows Aintree pretty well, hasn't always got it quite right. Last year, he got caught on the run-in. He was on What's Up Boys, finished only second to Binderee. At Cheltenham, though, he couldn't have enjoyed an easier ride on board the big grey Rooster Booster. He had to take a pull coming for home. He was travelling so easily, and by the time they came down to the last flight, he streaked clear for a massive win in the champion hurdle. That's the reason Rooster Booster is so well fancied today. Can he continue that winning form?
Final ride in public, and he's getting a well-deserved round of applause. One of the most beautiful and coolest jockeys.
Well, as you can see, the crowds here are huge. They're going to enjoy this race as well. Here's Jim with the runners and riders.
And what a cracker it should be. Number 1 is Ballapore from Ireland, John Cullen aboard. And as the horses come onto the course, Charlie Swan just getting an ovation from the crowd. Tony McCoy rides Copeland here. Good ride for him. And Tony Dobbin is aboard Orland Loire. Let's flip through them. Lord Transcend, a very interesting runner. He's on the climb, but this might be a step too far. Rooster Booster, of course, is the champion hurdler, having won very well at Cheltenham. Secundai Ruby Walsh from Ireland takes the ride there. And right down the bottom, number 11, Like a Butterfly. Charlie Swan, the 9 times Irish champion, is having his last race ride here today on this mare, Like a Butterfly. Let's have a look now at the betting.
Well, Rooster Booster's the favourite at 5-4. It's touched 11-8. The emotional bets will surely be on Like a Butterfly, who ran a disappointing race when the ground perhaps wasn't soft enough for him at Cheltenham, but is the last ride of Charlie Swan. Copeland is 7-1 with Secundai at 9s, having opened up 11s. Lord Transcend is 11s with All-A-Wah, a big price at 16-1, and also Self-Defence, a big price at 20s. But if you're looking for an outsider where there's been money for in the ring, look no further than Gios at 20-1 from 33s, with Quasar at 25s and 33-1 bar. This is a fascinating race, and there are so many questions to be asked about Rooster Booster. The 2.5-mile trip. Perhaps the price is short at 5-4, but the interesting support for Gios is, I think, very significant. Big chance, 20s from 33, good each way bet this one.
Well, let's have a look now at Rooster Booster. We'll see him in a minute. There's the colours of Terry Warner. This horse, who is British bred through and through by River Wise, the stallion that Richard Mitchell stands. Only had a couple of mares last year out of his own mare, Came Cottage, who broke her leg after in the field when she was turned out, came back to breed this horse.
Surely the question over this, Richard, is will he stay? He won the champion hurdle, which is over 2 mile, but this is an extra distance of 4 furlongs today. What do you think?
Well, I think he'll get it. I mean, he stayed so well up the hill at Cheltenham, but we've just been joined by Norman Williamson. Good to see you here, Storming, although you'd love to be riding in the race. Will this horse stay 2.5 miles?
I think he will, Richard. I've ridden him. I think Richard Johnson today will drop him out and he won't pass the horse all the way around. It'll be late in the race when you see him make his move. He's a very, very good horse, but he'll have to settle to get the trip.
Okay, but there are plenty, as you would expect in a championship race like this, with chances. And of course there is Charlie Swan on the mare Like a Butterfly. She's only been beaten twice, Skew, but Charlie Swan, if he wins this, they will lift the roof.
Yeah, but Norman, there's JP McManus, a great man and a great hero of every National Hunt fan.
Yeah,
but going back to
order of Charlie's, but this, people don't realise this is one of the most outstanding jockeys we've ever seen. I'll tell you a little quick story. I was heading down the hill in Cheltenham one day, and Tony McCoy and myself were pulling up in the bumper, and Charlie passed us and he said, do you think I'll win? And sure enough he did. Joe Cullen got up on the line. He was about 20th turning into the straight, but an outstanding jockey and a great asset to the sport, so wish him well here.
And for his last ride here, surely he knows that this horse gets 2.5. Rooster Booster might not. He'll want a good gallop.
I think Charlie will be pressing on the pace here all the way. She loves the ground. She's got a big chance.
Now this is Self-Defence, who at a big price of 101 ran 4th to Rooster Booster, Norman, capped but 15 lengths behind at Cheltenham.
Yeah, he was a good bit behind. He's been running good races, but you know, thrown in at the deep end probably, but in his own right, a very, very good horse. Hard to see him win, but has got his chance.
Well, Emma Lavelle has really been doing well. She's really made a name for herself this season. There is Copeland and McCoy's Skew, a horse who fell at Cheltenham when still going well.
Yeah, very good horse on his day, some very big victories to his name, and has form good enough to win a champion hurdle. He's finished in front of Rooster Booster. He probably just hasn't been as good as this season as he has in the past, but as I say, if he reproduces that form, he'll take a lot of beating.
He's on the drift there. He's out to 7-1 from 6.5. There is Tony's mother. Well, she's looking fairly cool. at the moment, but we'll hopefully get some shots. If she doesn't know we're watching, if he wins, we'll get some exciting shots. Now, there you can just see Mr. Cool going by.
There's a horse I know.
Secundai.
Yeah, rode him last time, Richard. Secundai is tough as nails. Stays really well. Ruby Walsh rides. You'll see him off the bridle early, but he'll come home well. Certainly got an each way chance. I could even see him finishing second to Rooster Booster. He's a good, tough horse, and there's my boss, so I better not say too much.
Is he a good boss?
He's not too bad.
Sands
Looks happy enough there.
Coming to line. That's it, under orders and racing. And beginning at the back, Rooster Booster. Right back in last position, just preceded by All La Loire. And going on Mr. Cool by a couple of lengths here as they head towards the first. Jumps it well from Lord Transcend in second. Rooster Booster just got in a fraction close to that. But as they continue their journey down the back, it's Mr. Cool by 2 or 3 lengths. To in second place, Copeland on the inside of Lord Transcend, and further back then is Quasar. 2 or 3 lengths to Gios and Secundai, and back in the field is Ballapore, followed by Self-Defense, All La Loire, Like a Butterfly, and Rooster Booster is last. Racing out of the back, and a good shot there of Mr. Cool, Tom Scudamore. Up in the firing line, just like his father used to be, forcing the issue by 2 or 3 lengths. As they settle down and race across the top of the course. Lord Transcend in second, Quasar up in third, then in fourth is Gios, followed by Copeland. A length further back in the field then is Secundai, who's in the blue jacket, followed by Self-Defense, ridden back in the field, so too Ballapore from All La Loire. And right out the back is Like a Butterfly with Rooster Booster, biding his time, Richard Johnson. He's back there absolute last. Best part of 12-15 lengths off the pace. What a mighty leap by Mr. Cool in front. Mr. Cool landed about a half length in front of Lord Transcend as they travel up the straight the first time. Leads by a length or so. In behind them, Quasar. Then in fourth was Copeland, followed on the outside by Gios and Secundai. Pace is pretty good. Further back in the field too is Self-Defense, followed by All La Loire, given plenty of air out wider as they come to the one that'll be the last next time round. And the leader just wrapped it pretty hard. Back in the field Like a Butterfly with Ballapore, and last is Rooster Booster. Heading up to the judge now. They've got just over a circuit to go. And Lord Transcend has now taken it up, sent on by Graham Lee. He'll have his first ride in the National later today. Leads by 2 or 3 lengths to Mr. Cool. Then in third is Quasar, followed by Gios, who's up on the outside in fourth. Tucked away in fifth is Copeland from Secundai and All La Loire, taking closer order now. Followed then by Self-Defense from Like a Butterfly, who's decided Charlie Swan's going to track All La Loire here. Back in the field, Ballapore, and 2 lengths to Rooster Booster, who's last, as they're back where they started. First one down the back now. This is 6 out. Lord Transcend by a length and a half. To Quasar in second, and All La Loire hit that. Mr. Cool, I should say, hit that, and is now dropping right back through the field, passed by All La Loire, as they continue their journey down the back to 5 out. Lord Transcend by a length and a half. To Quasar in the centre. Gios wide in the white colours, blue cap. Copeland sitting in behind has had a perfect run. Followed then by Secundai, and further back in the field, All La Loire. Like a Butterfly is coming into it steadily from Rooster Booster, also making ground. Self-Defense under the whip doing nothing. Back in the field, Ballapore and Mr. Cool's dropped back to absolute last. Lord Transcend jumped 4 out, nicely clear by a couple of lengths as they prepare to leave the back. Quasar goes up into second, Copeland in third. They're followed by Gios and Secundai. Rooster Booster has now grabbed hold of the bit and has made ground to be just on the heels of the leaders, but being tracked by Like a Butterfly. Charlie Swan having his last race ride. Then on the outside is All La Loire, a long gap to Ballapore, who's struggling with Self-Defense, and forget Mr. Cool. They're on the turn for home now in the Martel Cognac Aintree Hurdle. The race on in earnest here as Lord Transcend leads by a half length to Quasar. Secundai coming there. Copeland is looking for a way through now. Tony McCoy, followed then by Like a Butterfly, who's coming there strongly. All La Loire now being pushed along, and Rooster Booster's on the inside of Like a Butterfly. Coming to 3 out now, and Quasar jumped to the lead. from in second Lord Transcend, then Secundai. Rooster Booster, the Cheltenham champion hurdle winner, sitting in behind them, and Like a Butterfly just in behind him. But it's Quasar who led over the second last from Secundai. The champion gets up on the rails now. It's Rooster Booster, Richard Johnson, who takes it up. Rooster Booster as they come towards the last now from Secundai, giving chase, then Quasar. Like a Butterfly, I don't think it'll be a happy ending for Charlie Swan, but 100 yards left to go now, and it's Rooster Booster fighting it out with Secundai. It's Rooster Booster and Secundai. They settle down to fight it right out as they go towards the line. Rooster Booster being grabbed all the while. Rooster Booster, Secundai. Secundai has just got up, I reckon, to beat Rooster Booster in a photo. The long gap then of 10 lengths to Like a Butterfly from Quasar. Behind them is Lord Transcend, then Copeland, Geos, Mr. Cool, and further back All La Loire. Self-defense pulled up before the line, and Ballapore is going to be last across the line. But it does look like Ruby Walsh again. It's officially a photograph, but on the outside, Secundai absolutely flying and has just got up to edge out the grey, I'd say, looking at the evidence there. And Ruby Walsh has made it 3 out of 3 on Martel Cognac Grand National Day. Can he make it 4 out of 4 by winning the National on Shotgun Willie? Here's the official placing. First number 9, it's official, Secundai. Secundai from Ireland, trained by Edward O'Grady, owned by the main Marm Syndicate, and ridden by Ruby Walsh, who picked up that ride from Norman Williamson, who unfortunately was injured yesterday and will not ride today. Second is number 8, Rooster Booster, owned by Terry Warner, trained by Philip Holmes and ridden by Richard Johnson. Third, number 11, Like a Butterfly. It wasn't to be the happy ending that many were anticipating for Charlie Swan. 681 to 1 treble it is for Ruby Walsh. Like a Butterfly, trained by Christy Roach for JP McManus. And fourth, number 7, Quasar. But there is the winning jockey, Ruby Walsh. Could it be 4 out of 4 on Shotgun Willie?
Well, with me, Norman Williamson, you would have been riding if your neck hadn't been hurt in these blue colours on Secundai, Norman.
Yeah, Richard, I'm a lot sore now than I was a minute ago. Amazing. I thought he'd finish second to Rooster Booster, but Ruby's given a great ride. He travelled well. Rooster Booster arrived there, and for me, he probably didn't quite stay.
Now, Richard Johnson's got his stick at this point, but he doesn't finish with it. I didn't see where he threw it away. The horse got in, Rooster Booster just...
There you go.
Yeah,
just,
goodbye.
Yeah,
goodbye.
Just,
yeah. Now,
do you wonder whether it made
a difference?
It might have made a difference, but this Secundai is a real tough horse. Ran a cracker last year in the Citroen Supreme at Cheltenham. Loves the ground, tough as nails, and a great ride from Ruby. It really was. He's one of them days he's booming, isn't he?
And there's your man, your boss.
There's my boss. Yeah, he'd be happy. Sheltering had a terrible fall in the Fox Hunters, and Pizarro fell yesterday. Glenhaven Nugget ran terrible, we fancied, and this makes up for it, doesn't it? Anyway, sorry I wasn't on him.
Well, you can see that Edward has patted every one of the other owners and trainers up there on the shoulder, and they're all going to be... Now look for the whip, looking in his right hand. He goes to flick it backwards and flicks it out.
It's just one of them things. These things happen, but you wonder whether it made a difference. I think he's a real brave horse. He's a winner of a champion hurdle, so you can't take anything away from him. But the winner is a real tough horse, and the trip is the big factor of this horse. He stays really well.
Very good price. 9 to 1. Ruby's third winner of the day from 3 rides, Jim.
Yeah, 9 to 1 the winner. 5 to 4 favourite Rooster Booster, just nailed right on the line. And Edward O'Grady, who came here with great hopes for Pizarro, among many of them, has now gained a Grade 1 victory with Martel in the Martel Cognac Aintree Hurdle with Secundai. Great triumph for the O'Grady stable. And Ruby Walsh will be watching him carefully on Shotgun Willie. He's preferred that to Ad Hoc in the Grand National. Paul Carberry taking the ride there. But that's coming up a little bit later. Let's have a look at the SPs now on the Aintree Hurdle. A real thriller.
and it was backed by so many. A really good little gamble landed here by number 9 Secundai at 9-1, but most of the punters were on Rooster Booster, who just was denied the 5-4 favourite. Like a Butterfly returned at 11-2. That finished third, ahead in 7 lengths, and a fantastic win from Secundai for Ireland, Eddie O'Grady, and the in-form Ruby Walsh.
Well, it's been a great day for Ruby Walsh so far. Will that continue? Coming up next, it is the Martel Cognac Grand National. But what does it feel like to experience this race firsthand? And is winning it the best moment of a jockey's career? Well, we can now hear the thoughts of someone who's won it twice, one of the bravest ever over these fences.
I'm asked all the time what it's like to win the National. I say it's the greatest feeling in the world. Words can't describe how you feel. People rushing up to you, congratulating you. It's just unbelievable. The build-up to the race is great. The atmosphere in the weighing room is fantastic. Those lads that are normally quiet, they get noisy. The noisy ones become very quiet. And then it's down to the start. The lad lets you go, wishes you luck. You're starting to focus. Really focus. The starter calls us in.
All right, jockeys, line up!
There's a rush for the tape. And I think at this moment, I think you've never been more alive in your whole life. Your focus is greater than it's ever been. And then he lets us go.
Come on!
Over the first, and it's a matter of getting into a rhythm. Get him over those first 5 fences before Beaches, the first big one. Kick, get to the elbow. You can hear the roar of the crowd, but all you focus on is that winning post. And then you're there, you're past it. What's it like? It's the greatest feeling you'll ever experience. And all hell lets loose. Everything then's a bit of a blur. Everyone's rushing up, congratulating you, patting the horse. It's just going mad. But it's not till 2 or 3 days later that it sinks in that you've actually won the National.
Well, that's exactly what it means. It is every jockey's dream. Not long to wait now. We are ready to begin the final build-up to the 2003 Martel Cognac Grand National. Our team are in place. Scoo is savouring the atmosphere in the jockey's room. Claire will talk to the owners and trainers in the loose box area. Richard and Norman will give us their views on the horses from the paddock commentary box. Angus will be bringing us the latest odds from the betting ring. And joining the fans at one of the famous fences, John is out on the course at the Canal Turn. And high above the grandstand, our main race commentator, Jim McGrath, will call them home. But before that, Jim will take us through the 40 runners and riders for the Martel Cognac Grand National.
Number 1 is Barry Geraughty, Richard Johnson taking the ride, second in last year's race. Number 3 is Jean Jambra, saddled by Lavinia Taylor, who has a Grand National connection. She was once Marcus Armitage's nanny. Number 4 is Shotgun Willie. Ruby Walsh chose this one ahead of stablemate Ad Hoc. Is that significant? Number 5, Fidelco, another Paul Nicholls runner. He's got 5 in the race today. Number 6, Chives, a strong fancy after finishing 7th in the Gold Cup. Stablemate of the great Best Mate. Seven, Iris Blur, the choice of champion Tony McCoy, hoping to win the race at his 8th attempt. 8 is Ad Hoc. Unluckily brought down 4 out in last year's Grand National. He's had a perfect preparation, and Paul Carberry to ride. 9 Ballinclay King, a first Grand National ride for Davy Russell, a graduate from the Pony Circuit and Point to Points in Ireland. 10 Carberry Cross, a first Grand National runner for John Joe O'Neill, hoping to improve on his record as a jockey. He never got around. 11 Bindaree, last year's Grand National winner. He hasn't won since though. Dual winner Carl Llewellyn takes over. 12 is You'll Never Walk Alone, and that'll be the chant on Merseyside today if J.P. McManus's stayer wins the big race. 13 The Bunny Boiler, an Irish National winner with a delicious name. First Grand National ride for John Cullen. 14 Blowing Wind, third in the Grand National the last 2 years. Tom Scudamore takes over this time. His stablemate is You're a Good 'Un, number 15. Third attempt at the Grand National. He was brought down in 2001 and 7th last year. 16 is Catarino. He's had leg injuries and breathing problems, but apart from that, he's very able. Mick Fitzgerald in the saddle. 17 is Red Striker, representing the Red Marauder camp, who won here in 2001. Amateur Larry McGrath will be aboard today. 18 Southern Star, one of 3 runners for the man who owns Blackpool Tower, Trevor Hemmings. 19 Monty's Pass, a Kerry National winner who loves fast ground. Former Irish champion Barry Geraughty will be aboard today. 20 Marjed, he fell at Beecher's Brook on the 2nd circuit last year. He's one of Martin Pipe's 7 runners. 21 Amberleigh House has won over the big fences at Aintree and is trained by Red Rum's trainer Ginger McCain. 22 Maximise, last year's winning jockey Jim Cullity rides this very good stayer for Henrietta Knight. 23 Montifaux, a long shot, giving 23-year-old Joe Tizard another Grand National chance on his 6th ride in the big race. 24 Polar Champ, one of the rank outsiders, but giving 22-year-old Danny Howard his first Grand National ride. 25 Craig House is another long shot, but one who's quietly fancied by many astute Irishmen. David Casey will be aboard. 26 Good Shule, an outsider formerly trained in Ireland. He's now trained in Britain by Charlie Mann. 27 Mantles Prince, another at a very long price, but there are big doubts about him getting the trip. He's more of a 2-miler. 28 Torduff Express, who won the Fox Hunters over the national fences last year. He's a good ride for Timmy Murphy. 29 Goganard fell at the first in last year's Grand National. Warren Marston will be hoping for better this time. .30 Gunnar Wellburn. This year he sneaks into the field after missing out last time. A good stayer who's won over the big fences here at Aintree. 31 Royal Pradika, 18-year-old Jamie Moore having his first Grand National ride. And this horse was a Cheltenham winner last time. Number 32, Supreme Glory, a Welsh national winner who hasn't won since returning from injury. .33 Tremolta, a good jumper but hasn't won for well over a year. Jason McGuire takes the run. .34 Wonder Weasel, a grand stayer who ran a great race at Haydock last time, and he's better than his name suggests. .35 Jeddah, a French horse who's running in the Grand National for the 4th time. He was 9th in 2000 behind Papillon. Thierry Duman aboard. 36 is Berlou, formerly from France, and one of Martin Pipe's big outsiders, Jerry Supple. .37 Red Arc, another who went at the first fence last year. Former amateur champ Kenny Johnson in the saddle. Number 38 is Robbo, trained by Mary Reevely, who's hinted at retirement. What a finale this would be if it wins for her. .39 Calasti, Tony Dobbin, who won on Lord Galeen in 1997, gets the ride at the last minute. Norman Williamson is injured. 40 is Emperor River, first Grand National ride for 40-year-old French amateur Dr. Patrick Hay, a GP who's based at Pau. And coming into the field is a reserve number 2 Bramble Hill Duke, Brian Crowley, a big outsider who just scraped into the field as a reserve.
So those are the 40 runners and riders, and most of them being saddled up down here in the boxes now. And Vanessa, who looks after Carberry Cross, has just gone sprinting off to get the number. That wasn't a very good thing to forget.
Not ideal.
Now, he looks very relaxed. He looks half asleep, actually.
Yes, he's a very relaxed sort of horse.
What's it like to lead up a runner in the National?
It's fantastic. I've never done it before, but it's great.
Good. OK, well, Carberry Cross, just make sure you wake up before you go out there. Next door, we've got Goggenar being saddled by Harvey Smith, who had a walk round the course earlier. And, Harvey, you thought the ground was pretty perfect, didn't you?
Perfect. Couldn't have been better. The men have done a great job on the ground.
Well, good. Did you expect a big run from him?
Exceptionally big run.
He's confident, is Harvey. Sue Smith in there as well, just putting the finishing touches. Now, this is one of the biggest horses in the field. This is Berejjan, be carrying top weight. He's about the equivalent of a person standing at 5'8.5". He's absolutely huge. And when he's at home in his box, he just leans against the wall and falls asleep. And I've never seen a horse do that before. But Henry, I know he normally sweats up, and
he will.
You want him to, don't you?
He will.
But he's so huge, he'll probably just step over the fences, just tying down the grackle on him to keep his mouth shut, because he can be quite keen as well. Craig House being saddled up here as well. A few of them have already gone out. Jean Jambre was one of the early ones to get saddled, but we'll catch up with a few people in the paddock later.
Well, the opening show in this year's Martel Cognac Grand National was amazing. 5 co-favourites at 10-1, but Shotgun Willie has just this moment gone to be clear favourite in the National at 9-1. But it's far from certain he'll end up favourite. The next half an hour will be fascinating. You'll Never Walk Alone, 10-1, Ad Hoc, 10-1, Chives, 10-1, and Iris Bleu is 10-1. And there's a big gamble going on Blowing Wind, I can tell you, from 66-1 into 25-1. Ginjomba and Calusty are also popular at 12-1. Monty's Pass is 14-1. It's 16-1 bar. Of the outsiders being backed, I mentioned the news Red Striker earlier on. That's being significantly supported after Ruud van Nistelrooy had scored the first goal for Manchester United in their win over Liverpool. But Shotgun Willie, the 9-1 favourite.
Absolutely massive crowds down here at the Canal Turn. Very excited, everybody. Have you picked your horse yet?
Absolutely. I reckon Monty's Pass.
Monty's Pass. Why is that?
I'll have the name, I think.
Well, that'll do. Have you picked your selection yet?
Kenna Welburn. Don't know much about it, but it'll be a laugh.
Sounds like a good name anyway. I couldn't help but hear your accent before. Where are you from?
I'm from Melbourne, Australia.
Well, you're in for a treat, by the way, because you'll never have seen anything like this. The canal turn, it's not really a turn, it's actually like a right angle. You're going to see a fantastic performance from the horses. It's nothing like a Cox's Plate, that's for sure.
It's fantastic. Looking forward to it. And I recommend 7, 9, and anyone else in the field could win.
Well, you heard it here first.
Well, I'm pleased you haven't taken the red ones.
I've got Larry McGrath with me here. How are you handling all the nerves and are you getting the mickey taken out of you?
Oh, plenty of it, yeah. I'll be fine, so as soon as I get on with it, it'll be okay.
This is your first ride in the National?
Yeah, first ride in the National.
And Red Striker is Red Marauder's brother. Will that help him?
Well, I hope so. I hope he jumps a bit better than him, though.
And Richard Guest, the trainer, trained Red Marauder. Has he given you plenty of advice?
Yeah, he just said, ride him as you find him and get him settled and enjoy yourself.
I hope you have a good ride.
Thank you very much.
Larry, just in case.
Thank you.
Yes, it's a great atmosphere, and I've got Norman Williamson with me. Norman, you're desperate to be in there, aren't you, not here?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's very, very hard to describe it to anyone, as you well know, sitting in there. As we heard Woody say earlier, the quiet lads get noisy and the noisy lads get quiet, and it's a fascinating day, the whole thing, the build-up. But a few will be getting worried now.
They will. Let's see if Skew's got a worried one.
Well, I've got non-worried ones here. I've got two old hands in Mick Fitzgerald and Carl Llewellyn. First of all, Carl, you ride Binderee. You didn't ride him last year. Is that an extra pressure on you?
No, not at all. No, it's hard for horses to come back and win it again. But he's in great form, so I'm very happy at the moment.
Where are you going to go?
Fairly near the inner.
Hopefully all the way around.
Because he... no, I mean, I'll go to the pub tonight probably. But no, I'm going to go fairly close in. He jumps a little bit left, so I'll probably go down there.
And Mick, you won it on Rough Quest. Can you do that again?
I'd like to get round. I haven't got round since.
Have you not?
No.
What have you decided? Where are you going?
I'm really going to hunt for a circuit. It's this fella's first time. He just needs to find his feet. Once he does that, I'll be away.
You seem fairly relaxed. I mean, I thought you might be a little bit more nervous.
Don't get nervous.
Well, get round this time. I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, Skip.
Well, down here in the paddock, there are so many runners in this race. They're having to walk 2 by 2, 40 of them in the paddock, and it's not quite big enough for them. But all of them looking extremely relaxed. We'll just grab a word over here. Madeleine Lloyd-Webber, who's married to Andrew Lloyd-Webber, has 2 runners in the race. Barry Geraughty, who we saw a little earlier being saddled, and also Kilusty. And she lost her jockey, Madeleine. Can I just grab a word? They lost their jockey yesterday because Norman Williamson was injured, so you were running around trying to find a suitable replacement.
It's all a bit of a drama, really, but that's what the National's all about. And we've got a fantastic Tony Dobbin. You couldn't do better than that either, so we're very lucky.
And Kilusty has the most fabulous form figures. He's only been beaten once.
Yes, but they're in novice chases, sadly. But he's ready for it. He's very, very fit. He's very well. He jumps well. So hopefully we're going to be lucky.
And you let the husband come along today.
Husband's
Andrew,
here.
Yes.
How are you enjoying it?
It's great. I mean, it's really fantastic. I don't know why Madeleine's not riding it in the circumstances there.
Well, it's your sort of fences, really.
My sort of fences. Yeah, it's rather easy, I think.
Exactly. You haven't had a bet, have you?
No. I think we're just great if he gets round Kilusty.
Exactly. And Berejan as well, don't forget him.
But again, it's all Madeleine's department.
It is, indeed. Well, enjoy the day. Thanks.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Well, I've been speaking to 2 relaxed jockeys. I think I'm speaking to somebody who's a little bit under more pressure. Barry Fenton rides Gunnar Wellborn. How are you feeling?
Yeah, a little bit apprehensive now. The butterflies are starting to set in. Usually we used to get a free bottle of Martell before we go out, but they seem to have forgotten it this year.
Well, there'll be big support from the BBC team for you, so good luck.
Thank you.
Well, down here in the paddock, it's so crowded, it's rather difficult to remember what I'm doing or who I'm going to. But Trevor Hemmings is another one who's got more than one runner in the race. And one of his horses, Chives, is being very well supported. And I fell in love with Chives in the paddock before the Gold Cup.
Yes, I'm sure a few others have. What would you like to know?
Well, I just want to know about the horses themselves. I mean, Chives is a really big, imposing, handsome beast, isn't he?
It's a quality horse. But there's a quality field out there today. And you need that little bit of luck, as you know, from your experience as a family of trainers. But he's got all the ingredient. It's whether the day itself falls right for him.
And what about Gogunar and Southern Star?
Good contenders. If you ask each trainer, I think in the case of Henrietta Knight, she got to hesitate a little because she got 3. But they're highly, from their point of view, they consider highly Southern Star. I'm maximised, let me not leave it out.
Yeah.
But Gulgenard is, Sue and Harvey Smith have done an excellent job. He's found a new way of life up in the mountains of Smiths.
In Smith's Land, as we call it.
Smith's Land.
And it would mean more than anything to you to win the National, would it not?
Well, anything's a big word. Let's say in sport. Yeah, it's my goal, if you like. I was talking to a very capable young manager called David Moyes upstairs, and he said, well, I suppose this is, we were saying it's Wembley and the league trophy all in one. And it is. That's what it's about.
Tougher to win than them, I think, as well.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes, yeah, I think so.
Good
anyway,
luck to you.
See you now.
Okay.
Bye now.
Thanks.
Well, here are the boys having a traditional photograph. Norman, you should be there. But, you know, this is something that never used to happen. It's only new innovation.
Yeah, but it's great, and a lot of these lads will treasure this for years to come. Carl Llewellyn will probably... Asher could be his last one, couldn't it?
Well, it could be.
I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
No, but it could be. He's now in the veteran stage.
But some of these guys having their first ride, Davy Russell, big future, big career ahead of him. Several other young guys there that, you know, they'll probably ride 10 or 12 times in it, and wish him well.
Obviously, we cheated that photograph. You can see them coming out now, the stars there of Angie Morley's horse Polo Champ. But how do they feel now?
Well, very apprehensive, and they'd love to get it on, and they've got another 15-20 minutes before they'll actually set off, and it's a worrying time. You flash Evan, there's Ruby, Shotgun Willie and Tony McCoy, Noel Feely, Leighton Aspel, Andrew Taunton got a big chance in Ginjombra. There we go, Guesty, another senior rider, has won it before, David Casey, Timmy, Paul Carberry, one of the coolest men in the business, and Seamus Durack, both riding for Sir Robert Ogden.
I wonder if Seamus has still got his teeth on. Does he go meet the owners and then take them out, do you think?
He takes them out, yeah. He certainly take them out going down to the first year, won't he?
In one way or another. But Norman, look at the crowds in here. Now, finding your owner will be the first obstacle.
Yeah, finding the owner it's not a big worry, but you're running around in circles, really. I think at this stage your biggest panic is the horse. The horse really, whether he's getting upset or whether he's being calm.
Well, the jockeys are just making their way out into the paddock. The big problem for them will be trying to find where their connections are. But Andrew Thornton's coming in the right direction to meet Lavinia Taylor. He has got the ride on Ginjombra. And Lavinia, I know you've been very nervous in the build-up. How are you feeling now?
Not much better now, but at least we've got here in one piece, which I thought might not happen.
Well, yes, because you are a bit of a pessimist, aren't you?
I know he's going to fall at the first fence, and I'm planning our trip to Ayr straight after the race.
Oh, don't say that. I understand, and I won't say this too near your husband, that your husband has had to leave the marital bed. Is that right?
He has, for about the last 3 weeks, because I toss and turn too much, so hopefully we'll get a good night's sleep together sometime in the near future.
Well, I hope your prophecy doesn't come true, because I'd love to see him run a big race, and just if he gets over the first, he could do that.
He could. He has the form to do it if everything went well, so we'll hope for the best.
Okay, lovely. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
We've now got joint favourites Shotgun Willie and Ad Hoc at 9-1. The latest move has been the 10s into the 9s for Ad Hoc. You'll Never Walk Alone is 10s, with Chives also at 10s. Iris Blur is 10s. I still couldn't say with any confidence what will start favourite in this year's Martel Cognac National. Kiloski 12s, Ginjombra at 14s, Monty's past 14s, Gunnar Welburn is a 16-1 chance. Now, amongst the bigger prices, they've come for Blowing Wind. That was as big as 66-1. That is becoming a very big gamble. The public seem to remember having backed it each way over the last 2 years and got the money. They are going for it again. 25s from 28s. Amongst those on 33-1 include Amberleigh House and Royal Pradika. It's 40-1 bar. Joint favourites in the National at the moment, Shotgun Willie and Ad Hoc.
Well, just looking down there, you can see the people standing on the colours of Graham Roach. Of course, that is the colours carried by Shotgun Willie. He's only had the one run this season. He was so bold to win up at Haydock Park, and they have done this specifically. They've aimed him at this race, and that win the other day was a bonus. He's looking for his 4th win of the afternoon, but this is his 4th ride in the race. He's actually won it, of course, and he's been 4th on one occasion. But Shotgun Willie looks absolutely incredibly well. The sunshine, of course, helps them a great deal.
Well, I'm just trying to track down Paul Nicholls. He's got 5 runners in the race and he's running around madly, giving his various jockeys their instructions. Fidalgo is one of them, who's just here. Right behind him is Jean Jambre. We talked to Lavinia Taylor a little earlier on. Andrew Thornton looking very cool on board. You right, Andrew? Looking forward to it, he says, which is easy enough to say. He's on a decent horse as well. Right, Paul Nicholls is here. Just talking to Timmy Murphy, who rides Tour d'Af Express for him. I don't know why he's giving instructions quite so late, but probably just saying keep out of trouble. Paul, are you right? Have you found them all?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
What are you running around giving instructions this late for?
No, just to make sure they're all right.
Yeah, and are they?
Yeah, they all seem fairly well. Just want some luck now, don't we?
Oh, dead right, but you've got a big chance with Shotgun Willie and Ad Hoc.
Yeah, it's down to luck now, isn't it? I mean, we haven't got a great record on the race, but it's just where it goes, and God willing, they all come back safe and sound. That's the main thing.
Well, which of them would you choose if you actually had to nail your colours to one?
I honestly couldn't. But Shotgun and Ad Hoc, their preparation has been spot on. Very hard to split between them. They both got every chance. I really wouldn't want to decide. Just whichever's luckiest, really.
Well, good luck, because that's, as you say, what you'll need. AP McCoy just going behind us on Iris Bleu. He's got the leg up, feet out the stirrups. He's pretty cool.
The colours of Sir Robert Ogden here. He's got Ad Hoc, but also Fidalgo. Now, Ad Hoc we've seen a lot about him, and Skew's ridden him, and he looks a super horse. He's well put together, and he's neat and tidy.
Yeah, he's a very, as you say, you summed up again, nice, tidy little horse, a lot of muscle about him.
I've ridden him, Skew, as well. I rode him in Newbury one year, having his first run of the season. Very good horse. I think Paul Carberry will suit him. Rode him here last year. He'll drop in and take his time. Huge chance, must have.
I mean, Paul Nicholls says he's got a bad record in the race, but this could have won last year.
Yes.
He certainly could have.
Yeah, he was cantering. Long way to go. There's number 34 walking out there.
Oh, Fidalgo was
Wonder
first.
Weasel.
Jean Jambre. Now, we must tell the people he's just gone through. Jean Jambre, Lenzio wears contact lenses. Andrew Thornton.
He does,
Is there any other jockey?
Well, no, and I give him abuse that when he loses the white rail, that's it. If there isn't a rail all the way around the inner, but he'll be all right around here.
The Bunny Boiler going
huge
through.
chance. The Bunny Boiler, I won a Midlands National on. Stays well, worry about the jumping.
Yeah, that's Red Arc, Kenny Johnson, Red Striker. No, that's, Red Striker going through.
That's with Robbo, Alan Dempsey.
Yeah, big sheepskin side pieces.
Here we go.
Gunnar Wellborn,
Barry Fenton, rode him out
Bergeron, that's a massive horse, huge horse. Be one of the biggest horses in training. Wouldn't I think Loire Miguel, and that would be
last year's winner.
Bindery, Sam, his devoted last, giving Carl the last orders. There's Burlew, one of Martin Pipe's runners.
And Leighton Aspel having his first ride on Supreme Glory, going through in the blue. And John Harewood's horse, Ginger McCain, trains this one. Amberleigh House, can he do it? Can he make it a fairy story? We'll know soon enough.
Barry Geraughty, Monty's Pass. Great chance for the Irish, love the ground. And of course then, if this fella wins, the roof will come down. You never walk alone. Conor O'Dwyer, again a senior rider, he's been around here several times. But, a great rider.
Very cheeky yesterday on native upmanship.
He was a great rider, and he'll suit this horse, I think.
Timmy Murphy after that, Tour d'Af.
It gets more interesting the longer it develops. At the moment, we have co-favourites of 3 in the National. Shotgun Willie, Ad Hoc, and You'll Never Walk Alone, all at 9-1. Chives and Iris Bleu at 10-1. Kilusty at 12s. Ginjombra eases to 14s. Monty's Pass 14s. Gunnar Wellborn is 16-1. There are a lot of horses being backed in this year's National, but at the moment, Shotgun Willie, Ad Hoc, and You'll Never Walk Alone vie for favouritism. They're all 9-1, co-favourites of 3.
Now, great shot from a helicopter in the sky. One of his 3, Trevor Hemming's 3 runners. This is one of them, the most fancied of them. Who's got the white cap, Skew? I can't.
Chives has the white cap, Richard, with Richard Guest aboard. Ran a terrific race last time in the Cheltenham Gold Cup.
He did, Skew, didn't he?
And
Real
the others
good horse,
are...
this fella jumps well, Chives, big chance.
The others, the red hat will look his Goggenard, and the blue hat Southern Star might cause us a few problems, boys. But Guesty is very cool. In fact, he's having more of a time now that he's getting into his veteran stage.
There's Craig House, a big outsider, well fancied. There's Blowing
Skew.
Wind, those colours are going around twice with Royal Predica as well, mustn't get that mixed up. You're a Good Un going through. There's Jeddah, the French horse.
He's been around here before, he's not getting any younger, but he's a clever old lad, he should jump around.
I think he did refuse once, didn't he? But he's also run well here.
That's what I said, Richard, he's clever.
Right.
Royal Predica going out.
Jamie Moore, only 18, good luck to him.
Monty Fouter coming through.
Yeah, big chance. Joe broke his back a year ago, but he's
Tordif
back here.
Express, another of Paul Nicholls' runners.
There we go, Bramble Hill Duke.
You know
Brian will be
him
open,
well.
he picks his feet up a little. Can get low at 1 or 2, but there we go, the champ.
Iris Blur.
Iris Blur got a chance. Tony doesn't have a great record in the race, but he's obviously fingers crossed.
And it looks as if he's going to be last out. They often say last out, first in, don't they?
Yeah, now they'll
That's what he's trying.
Well, Skew told me an interesting thing coming back. He said Ballinaclay King was kept out of the parade ring for a long time to keep him cool, Skew.
Yeah, just to keep his nerves down. I mean, I was just going to say to Norman now, I mean, this is probably the worst part of the National for the jockeys now, isn't it?
It is, and a lot of people don't realise, whatever about the jockeys, this is where you could, like Ballinaclay King kept out of the ring, this is where you could lose a race.
Yeah.
A horse could get too revved up. I saw Kelusky in the ring, he was revved.
A new favourite in the National on its own. You'll Never Walk Alone. Well, it was anticipated this morning this one might be favourite, and the money suggesting that is likely to be the case now. Not certain yet, a lot can happen. Shotgun Willie and Ad Hoc both 9-1. Chives and Iris Blur remain 10s. Kilusty 12s. Ginjombra 14 and Monty's Pass 14. 16-1 bar.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 verses of the national anthem will now be sung by the members of the First Act Opera Company, namely Simone Sofanor, Elaine Holden, Khosrow Mazuri and John von Nudding. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2003 Martel Cognac Grand National.
Now is the moment we're waiting for. They parade in front of the stands. The jockeys hate it. The horses don't like it. They've been out already for a long time parading. And anything that's likely to boil over certainly will. They'll get in order now. Just to tell you that the reserve that got in, Bramble Hill Duke, will be carrying number 2, but he will be at the end of the parade. So when you see us go from Berrijan to Ginjombra, we are not missing any horses. The overweights here, we've got Tony Dobbin putting up £4 overweight on Kilusty, and we've got £3 on Wonder Weasel JP McNamara. Now they are starting to go, Skew, so pick it up.
There is Berrijan, a huge horse, as I've already said. If Richard Johnson won on this, it would be a right royal win.
Ginjombra's just as big. He's got Lenzio on board. I fancy him a lot.
Shotgun Willie, Ruby Walsh has chosen this to ride instead of Ad Hoc. Is that the right decision?
Fidalco hasn't won from 5 outing so far, but could this be a good one to come right today? Seamus Durack on board.
There is Chives, ran a superb race last time. He has the assistance of Richard Guest, who has already run the Grand National, and Red Marauder.
Iris Blur is Tony McCoy's 8th ride in the race. He's been 3rd on 2 occasions. There's David Pipe, just keeping him cool.
There is Ad Hoc, the mount of Paul Carberry. Paul has already won the National at Bobby Joe. Let's hope this can give him another big ride.
After him, we'll see Ballinaclay King. Ferdy Murphy trains. It's Davy Russell's first ride in the race. Hope he has a good one.
Carberry Coth carries the colours of Arkle and Last Suspect, who won the Grand National.
And behind him, last year's winner, Binderee. Carl Llewellyn's 12th ride in the race. He's won it twice and been 3rd.
You'll Never Walk Alone, Liverpool's choice of the winner.
After him, John Cullen broke his neck last year, and the Bunny Boiler will need all his confidence to get round.
Blowing Wind, ridden by my son Thomas. I know how Mrs. McCoy's feeling.
You're a good un. Well, this is a big price when you consider he ran Shotgun Willie so close last time out, 40-1.
Mick Fitzgerald won the Grand National in Rough Quest, hasn't got round since. Let's hope Caterino gets round safe and sound for him.
Red Striker, brother to Red Marauder, Larry McGrath's first ride, one of 3 amateurs in the race.
One of Trevor Humming's 3 runners, Southern Star.
Monty's past mine and big chances. Jimmy Mangan's got his lucky hat on. I hope that hopes Barry Geraughty.
Margid, ridden by the brave Roddy Green.
Amberleigh House for John Halewood. He's got a big box full of people up there all willing him on for Ginger.
Maximise, pressure on for him. Will he let Jim Colutti down, who won the Grand National last year, on Binderee?
Monty Foe from Nichols Yard. Joe Tizard broke his back a year ago. He's back here fighting, wants a win here.
Polar Champ, a really popular little horse, a real trier. Let's hope he gives the jockey a good ride.
It's his first ride. What about Good Shul? David Casey's 8th ride, or his 5th ride. He's been 8th once.
Good Shul, ridden by Noel Feely.
And after him, we've got Mantle's Prince, bought recently by Emlyn Hughes. Well, he'll give a good interview afterwards.
Torduf Express is one round this course. It's ridden by Timmy Murphy.
Goganard, one of 3 in Trevor Hemming's colours next. The red cap, look for that. Warren Marston's 5th ride in the race. He's got round once.
Gunnar Wellborn. Barry Fenton looked nervous to me in the weighing room. He's concentrating.
I look nervous to myself here. Here's Royal Pradika, Jamie Moore having his first ride. What a big run. One of 2 runners for Peter Deal and John Dale.
Supreme Glory, a winner of a Welsh National. Can he make it Martell Grand National as well?
And Tremont looked well in the paddock for Tom George. Jason Maguire having his 3rd ride.
Won the Weasel with the sheepskin assistance. JP McNamara rides.
Will that be enough? The yellow colours of Jeddah. Thierry Duman knows his way around here on this horse.
Jerry Supple rides Burloo for Martin Pipe.
And another from Richard Guesyard in the red colours. Kenny Johnson on Red Arc. It's his 3rd ride.
Robbo in the scarf colours. I won the champion hurdle on these colours. These fences are a bit bigger.
And Killusty, who came from a mile back to win on his debut last time out, ridden by Tony Dobbin now.
Emperor River, a French challenger ridden by an amateur.
And last but not least, carrying number 2, Bramber Hill Duke, the reserve that got in. Brian Crowley having his 3rd ride. He's been brought down and pulled up. He's looking for a better run. So there are all the horses for you. Now this, to me, more than anywhere, is where, Norman, where people should look at a fence.
Yeah, it's very, very important, and I like to, well, used to always like to stand there and give the horse a proper view of it, even when the other horses go back, just to make sure that, listen, next time you come down here, we'll be going a different speed. There's a young lady, anyways, a big fan.
Well, there we are. There, a future jockey, a young lady. I wonder. That's Monty's Pass, of course. Michael Fouter there, who's had a mammoth bet. He stands to win almost £1 million. Be a good payoff for the jockey. Let's have a look at the market.
Well, Shotgun Willie is the 8-1 joint favourite now, as in the last few seconds, literally, the money has come for Tony McCoy. Iris Blur is now joint favourite for the National. It's literally just happened seconds ago. 8-1 each of two. You'll Never Walk Alone and Ad Hoc 9-1. Chives is 10-1, Killusty at 12, Ginjombra 14, Monty's past 14, and Gunnar Welburn is 16. You couldn't second guess this market, but I can tell you that one or two of the outsiders are being backed. Blowing Wind is 1, 28-1 into 20s on the course. It's been 66-1 in the betting shops this morning. Monty Fought, another of the Paul Nicholls team. Remember, he's got the two at the head of the market, Ad Hoc and Shotgun Willie. He's also got this Monty Fought, not to be ignored in the market, 25s from 33s. It's 28 Goggernard, 33 Amberleigh House and Royal Pradika, and it's 40-1 bar. Still can't tell you at this stage who's going to be the national favourite, but the money in the last few minutes means it could be Tony McCoy.
And this is the view from the very first fence when they come hurtling down to this after 2 furlongs, Norman. We say it every year, they're going too fast.
They're going too fast. They're always going too fast, but what can you do? Your trainer tells you be handy and you've got to pop out.
It's not a show jumping competition, is it?
Not
it's
a
race,
show jumping
you know?
competition, but once you get across that milling road, it's time to sit up and take stock of things.
And it is possible with 40 not to actually see the first fence.
It is very possible.
It always looks pretty big to me. I've always seen it. The jockeys all wandering around, just getting the last check to all their gear now. You don't want a leather breaking. We've seen that. We've seen girths come off. We've seen reins go over their head. It's important you get the tack right. There's Tony McCoy just wandering around there. He'll be concentrating. He won't be cracking many jokes. The stable lad is down there. That is the French lad Thierry Delef. He'll be just easing the nerves of Iris Blur, not of Tony McCoy.
Skew, he didn't get round last year. He went fairly early, but his form this year is superior.
Yes, I believe he's a horse that has improved immensely this season, and I would love to have seen the ground a little bit softer for him, but the 4 mile may just come into his favour.
Absolutely. Well, wish them luck in the colours of David Johnson. And David Johnson, of course, desperate to be champion owner again. Well, it's starting to get exciting. Now, Jim's going to have about 10 minutes to go through the race. It's going to be a nerve-wracking one.
Well, runners are at the start now for this 2003 Martel Cognac Grand National. 4.5 miles. They'll be galloping. They'll be jumping 30 fences. And the runners there are circling. And there's the view from Beecher's Brook. This is number 6 on the course. They go in a straight line until they get to Beecher's, and then they go pretty sharply left-handed. So if you're down there at Beecher's, which I was a few years ago commentating from there, Tony O'Hare's our man there today, they are a long way away, as you can see. My fellow commentators in the country at Beecher's will have Tony O'Hare, and taking them over the first 3 fences and then back the other side, John Hanna. The runners are circling. There's Jamie Moore on 31, Royal Pradika. Jamie Moore, 18 years of age, having his first ride in the Grand National, is in form. Let's have a look though at where he figures in the market. Shotgun Willie and Iris Blur are both the 8-1 joint favourites at the moment. A sustained gamble on You'll Never Walk Alone into 9-1. Ad Hoc is at 9-1. So the money for those 4 horses predominantly, but it is a very open Grand National. It's considered to be one of the most open for many years, and also the classiest for many, many years. Only 4 horses are outside the handicap, which is an indication of just the high class of high quality of steeplechaser we have here today. There's the starter, Simon Morant. He's going to the rostrum now. It's not going to be long. Right, jockeys, sort yourselves out. He says to jockeys to find a position. Cheers. Richard Guest is lining right up on the gate on the inside rail. They're all over there. They're charging over. And some way behind them, Ballinclay King, at least 50 yards behind them. The starters told them not to get on top of the gate. This has happened before, of course, infamously. Shotgun Willie is the clear 15-2 favourite. As the starter Simon Morant says go. They're off and racing in the 2003 Martel Grand National. And down near the inside, one of the first away chives with Monty's Pass, who's up there. Out wide of Bramble Hill Duke. Also Wonder Weasel behind them. Tony McCoy's got Iris Bloor up in the front rank as well. Maximise very wide with the Bunny Boiler as they cross the Malling Road. Ahead to the first, and we join John Hanmer.
And this is the most important of the 30 fences possibly. Carnage here last year. The leaders over safely, and they've jumped the first, going down to the second, and Tramalta is the leader, and the Bunny Boiler was the faller at the first, and I can't see any other fallers as they jump the second, and Tremalt is the leader as they run down to the open ditch. And Tremalt is showing in front of Blowing Wind in second, then Bindery is third. And we've lost Wonder Weasel at the third fence. And as they go now to the fourth, it's Tremalt showing in front of Monty Foe, Blowing Wind, then Maximise, Torduff Express, then Monty's Pass, and then comes Royal Predicate as we join Tony O'Hare.
Coming to the fence before Beechers, Tremalt, the leader, with Blowing Wind right up there too. Torduff Express is just behind them. Then towards the inside of these is Monty Foe. All the leaders safely over and heading towards Beechers Brook for the first time. Tremalt the leader, followed by Blowing Wind. Barry-Jean out wide, just behind them Torduff Express. Along the inside is Monty Foe. Here comes Beechers, first time, and Tremalt is over in front of Blowing Wind. The leaders all safely over. Ballinclay King, Fidalco was gone, mistake by Ballinclay King, as they continue on now towards the Foynaven fence, and jumping it, it's Tremalt in front, followed in second place on the inside by Monty Foe. They're followed in third by Torduff Express, then Blowing Wind. Just behind these is Maximise, then Monty's Pass. Behind these Iris Bleu. Barry-Jean is towards the outside as they come to the canal turn. Monty Foe on the inside of Tremalt. Monty's Pass just behind these with Blowing Wind. Again, the leaders all safely over. Polar Champ has gone towards the back of the field as they go towards Valentine's Brook. Now Tremalt the leader from Monty Foe, and they're followed by Maximise, and then Monty's Pass there too with Blowing Wind as we rejoin John Hanmer.
And Bindery last year's winner right at the back of the field, but Tremalt the leader from Monty Foe. Then Barry-Jean is close up with Torduff Express, and a bad blunder by Iris Blur very nearly went as they go now to fence number 10, and it's Monty Foe showing just in front of Tremalt, then Blowing Wind, then Torduff Express and Barry-Jean. And no fallers at that one yet unless some of the back ones go. And tailed off there is Chives, who climbed over that as they go now to the 12th. And Monty Foe from Tremalt, then Blowing Wind, Torduff Express, then Monty's Pass and Barry-Jean. And then just in behind them comes Maximise, then Gunnar Welburn taking closer order. Chives has been pulled up. Then comes Jean-Jean, followed then by Royal Predicate, Iris Blur, Carberry Cross. And You'll Never Walk Alone's been pulled up. Shotgun Willie and Ad Hoc are middle to round as we join Jim McGrath.
Well, still plenty of runners left now as they race around that top turn. A view from the saddle there in about 6th or 7th position. But Gunnar Welburn it is down to the inside who leads from Monty Foe as they race up now towards the 13th fence in the National. Tremalt is there as well. Behind them is Good Shul, not that far away. So too is Barry-Jean and Torduff Express as they head along now towards the 13th. Gunnar Welburn led over it, did it well. Maximise is just behind the leader with Iris Blur and Carberry Cross. They all got over the 13th, heading to the 14th, and it's Gunnar Welburn on the far side with the noseband. Monty Foe in the centre. Not that far away either is on the near side Torduff Express from Tremalt. Further back in the field then is Monty's Pass, and they're out. Then out wide is at this stage Barry-Jean. Further back then is Carberry Cross from Maximise and Iris Blur as they head up towards the chair. And it's Gunnar Welburn who just steadied there. He got over it, but he hesitated. All the leaders are over. Caterino is gone at the back of the field, heading to the water. And the leader is Monty Foe by a couple of lengths to Torduff Express and Monty's Pass. Up there, Tremalt from Carberry Cross, and behind them, Gunnar Welburn. Iris Blur has been pulled up before the water. Heading now out of the straight past the stands, Monty Foe from Torduff Express and Tremalt. In fourth is Carberry Cross, followed then on the outside next by Monty's Pass, then Gunnar Gunnar Wellburn from Gingembre. Royal Predica back in the field from Blowing Wind, and then Maximise from Mantle's Prince. On the inside at this stage is Calusty, and they're followed by Goguenard, Amberleigh House, as they head now over the Melling Road the second time, and Ballinclay King has been pulled up. We rejoin John Hanmer.
Tremalt and Tour d'Af Express are the two leaders as they jump that, and Tour d'Af Express led over it. Gunnar Wellburn's got back up to the leaders now. Monty's Pass is right there. Emperor River very nearly went and is tailed off as they jump the 18th. And Tour d'Af Express, Monty's Pass, Monty Foe, Gunnar Wellburn, Bayrajan out in the middle. Amberleigh House is there, Carberry Cross is there, so is Royal Predica, and on the outside Craig House as they jump the 19th. And going now to the 20th, it's Gunnar Wellburn back in front again from Monty's Pass, Tour d'Af Express, Monty Foe, Carberry Cross, as they jump the 20th, and a bad mistake by Royal Predica, also by Calusty, who's making ground, as we join Tony O'Hare.
Coming to the fence before Beechers and Gunnar Wellburn with a big noseband in the centre, preceded by a riderless horse. Tremalt still going well. Bayrajan is out wide. Tour d'Af Express is also prominent just behind these Monty Foe and Carberry Cross. And Amberleigh House is also in contention as they come down now towards Beechers. And the leader is Gunnar Wellburn, Monty's Pass, and Tour d'Af Express. Bayrajan on the outside, and Amberleigh House just behind these. We have Tremalt, and the leaders over a mistake by Tour d'Af Express, and we've lost Calusty there at Beechers as they, and further back Burlew was a faller at the back of the field as they go on to the Foynaven. Gunnar Wellburn is the leader, Monty's Pass in second, Amberleigh House shows third, Monty Foe the inside in the green and white, followed by Carberry Cross, then Tour d'Af Express. Bayrajan is next, Tremalt has dropped back, then comes Supreme Glory, and they're being followed by Royal Predica. Shotgun Willie has been pulled up as they go over the canal turn. Gunnar Wellburn, Monty's Pass. In third place is Monty Foe, and behind these is Amberleigh House. Mistake by Royal Predica in mid-division, and as they come towards Valentine's, it's Gunnar Wellburn who jumps it ahead. Gingembre has been pulled up. Monty's Pass is second. Third place is Amberleigh House for Monty Foe, and they're clear of Tremalt and Tour d'Af Express as we go back to John Hanmer.
Ad Hoc went at the 19th when behind, but going to the 5th from home, it's Gunnar Wellburn out clear of Monty's Pass. Then in third place is Amberleigh House, and Monty Foe is fourth. They're well clear of Supreme Glory, Tour d'Af Express and Tremalt as they go now to the last ditch, and Gunnar Wellburn not too clever over that, joined almost by Monty's Pass. Then Amberleigh House is third. Back in fourth is Monty Foe. They're clear of Supreme Glory, then Tremalt, Carberry Cross as they go to 3 out. Red Striker's gone, over 3 out. Gunnar Wellburn the leader from Monty's Pass, then Amberleigh House and Monty Foe. They're well clear of Supreme Glory, Tremalt, then Binderee, and then behind them Bayrajan and Carberry Cross, Blowing Wind, Royal Predica and Jeddah, and tailed right off is Marjed as we join Jim McGrath.
Well, as they race now over the Melling Road and back towards home now, and the leader on the inside is Gunnar Wellburn. For first season trainer, we see Andrew Balding on the far side. First season trainer Andrew Balding preparing Gunnar Wellburn from Monty's Pass in second. They're stride for stride now as they head towards the second last. They've drawn right away now by 3 lengths or so to Amberleigh House, who's running on well from Monty Foe as they come towards the second last. 3 in line, Gunnar Wellburn, Monty's Pass. Monty's Pass takes it up now, the loose horse preceding him. Gunnar Wellburn in second now, Amberleigh House under the whip is in third. A long gap, Monty Foe from Supreme Glory. They're the only ones in contention as they come to the last fence in the National. Monty's Pass on the far side. Amberleigh House jumped out to the right. A gap then to Gunnar Wellburn, followed by Supreme Glory and Monty Foe. They're on the run to the elbow. Monty's Pass by 5 or 6 legs for Ireland. In second is Amberleigh House. A long gap then Supreme Glory, who's running on well, but Monty's Pass. Barry Geraughty steals a peep over his shoulder. He's nicely clear. He's 6, 7, 8 legs in front of Amberleigh House. Supreme Glory running on for second, but it's a victory for Ireland at Barry Geraughty as Monty's Pass comes down to win the Martel Cognac Grand National. Monty's Pass the winner by the best part of 10 lengths. In second is Supreme Glory. In third, Amberleigh House. Fourth, Gunnar Wellburn. What a gallant performance. In fifth, then, is Monty Foe. Sixth is Binderee, who ran on well. Made up a lot of ground last year's winner. Behind them is, We see Blowing Wind just preceded by Carberry Cross, then Tremont, Bayrajan, Jeddah. They're followed by Marjed and Wellback still finishing on now. We see crossing the line Royal Pradika and Southern Star is well back behind them. But the winner is Monty's Pass for Ireland. Monty's Pass, trained by Jimmy Mangan, ridden by Barry Geraughty, and owned by the D Racing Syndicate. A Kerry National winner on fast ground at Listowel, and that has translated here into victory in the biggest steeplechase of them all, the Martel Cognac Grand National. Second is number 32, Supreme Glory, owned by Christopher Mawson, trained by Pat Murphy, ridden by Leighton Aspel. And third, number 21, Amberleigh House, owned by Halewood International Limited, trained by Ginger McCain and ridden by Graham Lee. Fourth, number 30, that's Gunnar Welburn, trained by Andrew Balding, ridden by Barry Fenton. And in fifth place, Monty Fouter. And the distances, 12 lengths and 2 lengths. 12 lengths and 2. And there's Barry Geraughty. He was the top jockey at Cheltenham with 5 winners. He carried off the trophy there. And today he's won the biggest prize of all in steeplechasing. That's the Martel Cognac Grand National. What a performance it was by Monty's Pass. Loves fast ground. The ground had dried up here today. And he has done a great job to get the money. But Gunnar Welburn, what a race he ran for first season trainer Andrew Balding. He was there as they crossed the Melling Road, and he just started to give ground at the second last. Monty's Pass was preceded by the loose horse, then took it up and raced away. And there's been a fortune won on this horse by his connections. One of his owners stands to win $1 million, just over €1 million. And there's Barry Geraughty, the former Irish champion, 26 years of age, having his 4th ride in the Grand National today. Bindaree stayed on into 6th position, last year's winner. So if you did find a friendly bookmaker who was paying each way down to 5 and 6, you know that Monty Fouter was 5th, and in 6th was Bindaree. But there is Barry Geraughty just getting an affectionate kiss there, and why not after such a run. And here is the syndicate, the owners, the D Racing Syndicate. They have plotted this ever since last year, ever since the Kerry National, when this horse won. He's trained by Jimmy Mangan, who's 47 years of age. He's a renowned horseman, and is famous before this as the man who actually foaled the champion Dawn Run. Now there is the 1, 2, 3, 4. Monty's Pass at 16 to 1 is the winner. Supreme Glory at 40 to 1 is second. Amberleigh House at 33 to 1 is third, and Gunnar Welburn 16 to 1 is fourth. The escort of the 2 police horses, Inspector Kath Calvary, is appearing in uniform here for the final time today. She's one of the police guard bringing this winner back to the enclosure. Barry Geraughty earlier could have ridden You'll Never Walk Alone, who I believe was pulled up out in the country, but he chose to remain loyal to Monty's Pass, and that has proved to be a decisive booking. Here he comes, and look at the happy syndicate. Absolutely elated, and why wouldn't they be? Monty's Pass, a famous winner here at Aintree this afternoon. Monty's Pass is by Montelimar out of a Monksfield mare. Takes something to win a national. And going into today's race, the question was whether he would last the 4.5 miles. Well, he did that. No problems whatsoever. Absolutely outstayed them. He's done it very, very well indeed. The D-Racing Syndicate is headed by Mike Fouter, who is the man who stands to win the €1 million. He's 54 years of age. He comes from Blackpool, and he left Britain 30 years ago. He's based in Ireland, Northern Ireland, where he owns several bingo clubs. Jimmy Mangan from Mallow, County Cork, a renowned horseman. He's the trainer, and I can remember standing with him at Listowel last year when he outlined his long-range plan to win the National with this horse. And so it has come to be. Well, we've had quite a few Irish victories recently. Bobby Joe in '99, in 2000, Papillon. And now in 2003, Monty's Pass. He doesn't look at all perturbed at all. Look at him. Consider he's being mobbed there in the winner's enclosure. Well, there are the scenes. Barry Geraughty, the man who now joins his fellow countryman Paul Carberry and Ruby Walsh as winners of this great race.
Well, I've been joined by the... That was pretty special, huh, Jimmy?
Pretty special, yeah. Brilliant performance altogether. He travelled so well all the way through. I couldn't believe it when I was seeing it, you know. And he was jumping unbelievable. Yeah.
Seemed to be in control from a long way.
Oh, yeah. He had a good rest there for the winter, and he came back really 100%.
And it seems as though you and the owners have been very positive about him all the time.
Oh, he's never left us down. Any big race we've ever ran him in, he's always been in the money. Yeah.
How special is he then?
Oh, he's the star of the stable, really. I haven't many horses, but he's the star, really. You know, he was second here last year. He won a Kerry National, unlucky not to win 2 Kerry Nationals.
Is that when the owners decided to actually buy him after last year? When did they buy him?
I trained him for lads down in Kildallery, appointed him, and won a Hunter's Chase, and the lads from the Belfast Inn bought him then, you know.
First national runner. This is amazing.
Oh yeah, brilliant. The thing you dream about, really. We had a busy week, and it was just nice to have a runner, but like to have the winner is simply unreal.
And Barry was superb, huh?
Oh, superb. Like, I'd have to say, I would have throw all my staff at home, like, brilliant. I'm over here, and they're looking after the rest of the horses at home, and without them, you see, you just don't have the winners, really, you know. And I would have, Kieran Gleeson, unfortunately, he would be here with us today, but unfortunately, his poor mother died, and I'm happy to have bringing it back to Cork.
Yeah, I was going to say, there'll be a few celebrations there tonight, won't there?
Yeah, we'll be singing the banks of my own lovely lead tonight.
Okay, Jimmy, thank you very much. Now, is the owner...
Can I just say, for owners and riders, that if you looked at that horse coming back into that ring, it had done its best, hadn't it? A wonderful horse, and we're really pleased. And we're delighted. This is the whole crowd is delighted.
Where is Mike? Where is Mike Fouter?
I'm going to get him over now.
Okay, jolly good.
Hi, thanks.
He doesn't want any publicity.
Where is he? I'll go and find him.
Well, just while we're waiting for Mike Fouter to be found among that throng, that happy throng there, Sue's looking for him. It's interesting that Gunnar Welburn just hesitated at the chair, and he did get over it, did clamber over it eventually, but it was almost a turning point in the race. He then went to the lead and was jumping boldly after that, but he was just fading out of the picture into third. And last year's winner, Bindaree, has come from another county, literally, I'd say, to get his 6th position. And Ginger McCain back on the honour board of sorts by finishing third. There's Barry Geraughty and Gort now to talk to Sue.
Thanks, Jimmy. Barry, what a ride. That was special, huh?
Yeah, I was dynamite. Everywhere he went, just long and short, into the board, everywhere. It was like a cat. Like, unbelievable. And everywhere I went, like I was a case of how far. Travel like a bird the whole way. Jump great. Just unbelievable. Hard to believe you can do it so easy.
I don't think you not only made their day, I think you made their year behind you.
There must have been a good few quid in them or something. They're all gone mad for him. Oh, unbelievable.
I think we heard the owner's going to make about 800,000 from a little bet he had.
Something like that, I'm sure, yeah. He's a fair man to pump.
Tell us about the race. Were you ever in any trouble out there?
No, I had a lovely run. There's a good few fallers, I think, early on. Like there was no real traffic up front, and I didn't feel as if we went overly quick, and I was happy just to sit and take a lead and just. I only had one in front of me, go down to the beach, it was going to Wellburn, I was going to be a bitch to be brought down by one. But I had a dream of a run the whole way, and he jumped. Unbelievable, it was brilliant.
Well, Jimmy did say that he jumped so well at the Topham last year, and that's why they decided to put it through. But First National, wonderful performance.
It's just impossible to believe, you know.
What about you, First National win? Because you were 6th before. Is that the best for you?
Yeah, I was 6th on Call It a Day 4 years ago, and I hadn't got around the last 2 years, so it's hard to take in. You know, it's even a thrill to finish a national, let alone win one.
And it was probably quite nice that you didn't have a tense finish, because when you look back, were you surprised how far behind they were?
I didn't want to be there as soon, but I was happy enough all the way, and he picked up, he galloped well, like he got home well enough. But, it's hard to believe, as I said, to win it so easy.
Now, we haven't been able to speak to the owner. Why is he so shy, Barry?
I don't know, I must be off collecting his money, maybe.
You're probably right. Celebrating tonight?
I'd say there'd be a small bit of one, all right, chap.
Okay, Barry, thank you very much.
Barry. Well done, well done.
Here they are. Winners of the Martel Cognac Grand National for 2003. Monty's Pass, raced by the D Racing Syndicate. And Jimmy Mangan will be celebrating, that's for sure. Let's have a look now at the full SP on the Grand National. First, number 19, Monty's Pass, ridden by Barry Geraughty at 16-1. Second, number 32, Supreme Glory at 40-1. Third, number 21, Amberleigh House at 33-1. And fourth, number 30, Gunner Wellburn at 16-1. And the favourite ended up being number 4, and that was at 7-1. That was Shotgun Willie.
Well, I have finally tracked down the owner, Mike Fouter. Where did you go, Mike? You disappeared.
Well, there's 5 of us here, and we've all been celebrating already. You know, it went exactly as we planned. Barry's on top of his form. The trainer had the horse primed for the day, and we've told everyone about it for the last 3 weeks. And I know lots and lots of people backed it at 33-1.
Including you.
A little bit better price.
I love the quote where you said you want to see the whites of the bookie's eye when you put a bet on.
Yes. I haven't had time. Should I leave you now and go down the line where Hills and Labros and the Tote are? Yeah, but it was very, very good, and he rode a superb race.
It's incredible. First national runner for you. First national runner for the trainer as well.
Yes, but he ran very well in the Kerry National, and in the Kerry National he could have gone on a lot further than he did. And we were
second last year.
I was second in the Topham here last year, and everything worked out to plan. Adam?
What about the trainer?
Trainer superb, he did. Absolutely. And we even came prepared with Katie. This is Ian's. This is Ian's.
Katie, are you the mascot, are you?
Lucky mascot today is Katie.
Were you nervous, Katie?
Yeah, a bit.
Did you know he was going to win?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Is it true, Mike, that you actually saw a video of him and that's how you bought him? Is that true?
Yes, we actually bought another horse called Tim French, and it was on the video at the same time. So I managed eventually to do a deal with Jimmy Mangan, and we got the horse for the syndicate.
So you've had a wonderful first time at the Grand National, haven't you? What an experience has it been for you?
Oh yes, wonderful first time, yes.
Just talk us through, what was going through your mind at this point? Could you watch?
Oh yes, I watched every single jump. But at that stage, we knew the horse would stay, Well, we hoped it would stay. We didn't knew it would stay. Yeah. But there's the champion jockey on it, who can't do any wrong at the moment.
We have to look at the prize.
Okay.
We have to get the prize, mate.
Okay.
Absolutely, thank you so much. I think he is going off finally to collect his money, so congratulations. I'm sure there'll be tremendous celebrations here today.
There's Barry Geraughty driving home the Grand National winner, Monty's Pass. And they're still sorting things out there in the weighing room and the unsaddling enclosure, that famous area sought after by most of the principals in racing, national hunt racing. This is the big day, and this is the race. Huge crowd here at Aintree this afternoon.
Well, there are thousands of people now gathered around the winners' enclosure where the presentation is about to take place for the 2003 Martel Cognac Grand National, won in tremendous style by Monty's Pass, a third win in 5 years for the Irish. And Lord Daresbury, who is the chairman of Aintree Racecourse, will now introduce the presentation party.
Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon we've witnessed another memorable chapter in the history of the world's greatest steeplechase. I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of all racegoers to thank Martel for their 12th year as sponsors of this superb celebration of national hunt racing. It now gives me great pleasure to ask Lionel Breton, the Chief Executive of Martel Cognac, to present the trophy to the winning owners of Monty's Pass, the D Racing Syndicate.
Well, I think there may be just a few of them trying to make their way up onto the stage here. I've never seen so many people in the winners' enclosure for a winner of the Grand National. They look fantastic. They're going to be taking home a winner's cheque for £260,940 and that trophy as well. Congratulations. But let's not forget the enormous contribution of the winning trainer, Jimmy Mangan, who's brought this horse over from Ireland. And didn't he win in style? Well done, Jimmy. And what about the man on board? He was leading jockey of the Cheltenham Festival. Now he has added the Grand National to his list of achievements. Barry Geraughty. Ladies and gentlemen, one last huge round of applause for all the connections of this year's Martel Cognac Grand National winner, Monty's Pass.
Hey, Jimmy! Come on, Jimmy!
Well, what scenes are here at Aintree? I don't think I've ever seen as many people in a winner's enclosure, but there'll be tremendous celebrations here and in Ireland tonight, I can assure you of that. Well, if you did back the winner, I'm sure you'll want to see the race again. If you didn't, you'll probably want to know where your horse finished. So Richard Skoo and Norman will take us through the race once again from start to finish.
Certainly will. Let's go down there. And it was a tense start, wasn't it? But they got away to a good break here, and only a few in behind there.
Yes, on this fast ground, Richard, you need to jump out and be up there with the pace. But the one we lose here, unseated rider, I think he was up near the front, is Bunny Boiler, a horse you know well, Norman.
Bunny Boiler, yeah. I thought if anything he'd get too low at the fence, but I think he jumped too big at the first.
Isn't that him with a sheepskin noseband for the middle of our picture? Is that him?
He's in mauve colours.
Yeah, that's him, just coming to the... He's about disputing second or third, isn't he?
Very surprised how steady they went. They probably think they were flying, but they looked to be, I thought, to go a sensible gallop. Tremalt in front. The Bunny Boiler is with the white noseband, second from the right. And you'll see him, he'll just jumps a little bit high and unships the rider, but I think the rest of them jump well.
But he's got a good sight of it. Look at him too from the right. They always stood off a million miles, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Oh, jackknife.
Yeah, you've got no chance.
John Cullen gave him absolutely no chance.
Yeah, back in the Bunny Boiler, you can't say, well, he just fell off. That Tremalt in front, he's always a bit of a free-running horse.
Here he goes, Stu. You'll see him here now. He's spot on. A little bit long, if anything. Up he comes, a mile away.
Look,
there you go.
Too far.
too high, too far, and down he goes.
That's a typical of a first fence.
First fence fall.
Isn't it?
Yeah, horse did well to stand.
Now, of course, that was the first, and a lot of people will have lost money. They thought there'd be more fallers. There's Carberry Cross on the inside. This is Jockey Cam here, and we're just going to jump over the faller there. John Cullen broke his neck last summer at Kilbeggan. He's okay now. Let's go to the second. We lose another one here. Bramble Hill Duke in the light blue colours. In fact, we've gone past that one, but that is Brian Crowley who exit on the reserve horse. So let's have a look. Oh, Tremont, a huge jump there.
Royal Padica.
There we go, that's Bramble Hill Duke.
Berejam there.
Down the middle.
There's Bramble Hill Duke going, and poor Brian Crowley's race didn't last very long.
Well, let's have another look. Jockey's View. You two boys have fairly recently
There's Bramble
retired.
Hill, down he goes. Yeah, just got too low and backside up in the air and down he went.
This is Andrew Thornton's camera we were looking through. Now, fence 3 is Wonder Weasel, a horse that had a little bit of a chance, you know, didn't it?
Big ditch, this is the first big test. Wonder Weasel down the inside, second off the inner, third off the inner, outside Carberry Cross. Here we go. Yeah, he just got a fraction low, if anything, but he looked to jump it reasonably well.
Again, you know, it's when the nose hits the ground, it's very hard to recover, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll get a better angle
over
here.
Monty Fault maximised.
There's the winner.
There's the winner. Tony McCoy, Carberry Cross there.
Jean Jambra.
Camera. Sudolko, Robbo, Bannerley Clay King, and there's last year's winner Bindari.
And you're a good one. Good sight from the ditch there. So, 3 fences, and we've only lost, happily, 3 horses in the, and that's unusual, Norman, on good ground when they're going fast.
It is really, but I said earlier, I didn't think they went flat out. Tremall jumping in front, jumping super. They didn't go too quick, which was very sensible. We didn't lose any horse here, which was good news, really, but all
the other
jumping
thing
well.
What the runners have done, they've spread well out, which is giving each other a chance. They're not piling up upon each other. They'll jump this is the one before Beechers now, and then they'll start to pile
Here's
up a little bit.
your son Skew on the outside, Tom, having a great ride.
He's had a fantastic ride. What a wonderful old national horse Blowing Wind has been. He's been third in it twice, and he's got around this year.
And there's
Look at him
Monty
shortening up.
inside. That is a big
Again,
jump.
we didn't lose anything here, which was good news.
No, there's a few nodding,
Shotgun Willie nodded quite badly there. I think we lose him later on, but again, all going sensible, and as you said, Skew, well spread out.
Here's the Beechers. They'll run a little bit right, and then they'll come back left. Carberry Cross, watch him on the inside. Tremendous.
We can barely see him. There
by-
he's in the yellow at the very top of the picture. But in fact, it's Fidalgo and Seamus Durack who go here in the Robert Ogden colours. But keep your eye on Liam Cooper in those yellow colours. He's just merely in the picture on the top there, because this makes a right mistake. Look down and recovers.
Beautifully.
There's Fidalgo on the noseband. Down he go, Seamus out the back door. He won't be happy with that. He really won't. I'm going to give him grief when I see him, but he was unlucky.
There's the winner.
There's Chives. There you go. That's Seamus.
But he stood off a long way from it, and he was stretched when he hit the floor.
Stood a long way off, and Seamus slipped his reins, and I'd say thought the horse was going to go down, and the horse got himself out of trouble, and Seamus went out the back door.
There's Amberleigh House running a tremendous race. Look back on
now
the
there's
inside.
Fidalgo. Hit it quite hard. Looked like a faller, but actually did well to stand, really.
Carlwell and
Bindari, unbelievable how he stood up.
He did the same as Ryman Reason when he recovered to
Carlwell gave Bindari the most. I know he didn't win, but Norman and I were watching the race. It was
fantastic ride.
He nursed the old horse round, brought him back safe and sound. For the
there's a lot to be said for experience, and that's the reason he got him to run such a good race. But horse looked to really have lost his bottle a little bit, but he really gave him a great ride.
That's what he gave him his confidence back again, didn't he?
He certainly
got
did.
him going.
But they're nicely spread out here, you know. Everyone's got a good position.
Well spread out. They're going on the wide outside. You'll see Tony McCoy. He absolutely scrapes his leg off the inside here. Out they come, and now they're going to turn a sharp left for the canal turn.
But
all riding very clever.
Jason Maguire had pulled out to go in, hadn't he, on Tremont, and just picks up in front.
CAP there, jumping it now. He's really skimmed that you don't get a better jump round the canal turn than that. Chives quite low in behind. Polar Champ was the one that went there. AP McCoy said to me yesterday he didn't think he'd get over the first, so he's done well to get that far.
Well, that's young Danny Howdy's first ride, so he's had plenty of fun. Tremont stands off here well, you know. Monty Foe's running a good race. That's a good way to jump.
Berejam wide outside.
Amberleigh House going over there. He goes on and runs a great race.
And you remember, he got...
Now there's Polo Champ Richard, just stood a mile off and down he went.
And Amberleigh House got absolutely trodden on the year that they all fell there. Now, let's have another look. We've got Gunnar Welburn on the inside. Monty is next. On the outside, we've got Tremont. Barry just in behind, creeping into the action.
Ground probably not deep enough for Barry, but travelled well for a long way. Interesting to see the horses that all finished close up were handy through the race.
Yep. Valentine's tends to jump well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, just lovely to see them all streaming.
Well, when you get to this point, you'll be a little bit more relaxed than you were 2 minutes before.
Yeah.
And a bit of steam gone out of the action, and steam out of the horses.
Usually, and I know we have a few more fallers, but now that you're thinking to yourself, well, I've got this far now, you've got a bit of a rhythm, hopefully things could go well.
Yep. Well, we go on now. We don't lose any for a little
while. One very, very lucky one there. Tony McCoy, yes.
Iris Bleu, who pulls up in a minute.
Yeah, very shortly. But Iris Bleu absolutely threw McCoy up the neck, but self-preservation has always been one of his fortes.
Chives pulls up here just after this fence. But they're still streaming over. Monty Fouter on the inside, Trummold there, blowing wind on the inside. Amberleigh House going over.
There's You Never Walk Alone, who pulls up shortly after this.
You're a good and makes a bad mistake again. He didn't jump very well all the way around. And Bindery still given a time to recover from that awful mistake by Carl Llewellyn.
And Supreme Glory, of course, who had been out of the action for a while, starting to come from the back. Have a look now. Joe Tizard,
Joe Tizard, a super ride and a good ride he gave this horse. He just set him up for every fence, gave him a super ride. Real horseman's ride. He was very good on him all the way.
But, you know, riding with a lovely long rein, the horse was relaxed, seeing what he was doing, you know.
You'll Never Walk Alone is pulled up now.
Yeah. Well, as we heard, big disappointment for followers of Iris Bleu because he pulled up. They're crossing the Anchor Bridge Road now. This is always nice, Norman. You come onto the racecourse proper and you think, well, it's only 2 more and then the chair.
But now it's time to... You know, we lost You Never Walk Alone just before this. A lot of people will have had their money on him, pulled up. Skew thought he might have been injured. I don't think so. I hope he's okay. But now it's time to start riding a race. You got 2 fences before the chair. Monty falls. You can see Joe Tizard in front, just pulling up and saying, "Right, let's be sensible now, lads."
I think going through the jockey's mind, as you say, coming here towards the chair, you always worry about the loose horses here. This is where the loose horses can do you. So you just have a glance about you, don't you? Just make sure that loose horse doesn't run you out or run you into a corner of one of these fences. But they're pretty clear of them at the moment.
Yeah, well, just pick them up here. Gunnar Welburn on the inside. Monty Tremont. Horse has been there for a long time. Maximise just in behind. Iris Bleu is there, but we know that he pulls up very shortly. He pulls up after the 14th, before the chair. But nice, all in control here. So you should be. You've got another circuit to go.
Express.
The eventual winner is there.
He's just in behind him, Barry Geraughty. He rode him quite handy with the noseband in about 5th place down the middle, white cap. Like Barry said, he didn't touch a twig. Very, very clever. Jump super. Blowing wind skew. Young Tom on the inside. Again, he had a great ride.
And you look at the old horse jumping that there. Superb. Fantastic thrill for them all.
But Iris Bleu is still well in contention there, but he pulls up now. So presumably he's got a problem, you know, probably a leg. Hopefully it's nothing worse than that. But we'll find out very, very shortly. But anyway, look at Gunnar Welburn there, giving Andrew Balding, first season trainer, absolute palpitations, I would have thought. Now the chair, happily, no loose horses around, but at the chair...
this is the one before, Richard, just to the last now with a circuit to go, and we're heading for the chair, and this is when it's time, like Skew said, you're wondering about the loose horses. The chair stands out on its own a bit, and you're also wondering what you're tracking. As you can see, it's a bit daunting.
Oh, look,
horse in front.
How clever he...
Gunnar Welburn jammed on. If anything, he looked like he was going to refuse, but very clever.
So was Red Arc. He nearly put his feet on the... Red Striker nearly put his feet on the...
Yeah, Red Arc just gone through.
Emperor River jumping there as well.
But, you know, Gunnar Welburn just puts the brakes on here at the chair.
He was clever there, wasn't he? He got there too long. As we saw the horse the other day in the Hunter Chase, get there too long and land in the ditch. All he's done, you know, he's very intelligent, very athletic of the horse.
Yeah, but you've got to keep your eye on the leader. Now just watch.
Look,
He
it's
pops.
too long. Too long.
Oh, little pops.
Yeah.
I tell you one thing, Richard, I'd ride him around there.
Yeah, that's right.
He was
You'd take him hunting, wouldn't you?
Caterino, Mick Fitzgerald, got a heavy fall. Well, he'll probably go mad, but I think he was unseated. He just hit it very hard.
Well, there's some pretty interested faces watching this down here. Mick Fitzgerald just getting a lot of stick for taking a perler at the chair. What were you up to?
Human cannonball, I think, probably the way to go. I couldn't believe it. I was having a good ride, and well, I'm just a very short-lived effort. That was it.
Yeah. And Iris Blur, AP McCoy standing up here watching as well. Iris Blur wasn't really jumping well at all. He made lots of mistakes.
Made two bad mistakes. Made one early on. Obviously, he stepped into the chair, and unfortunately, he's hurt himself. But hopefully, he'll be okay.
Yeah. And you pulled him up.
Yeah, just when he bagged himself at the chair, there was no point continuing. He just pulled out the other side of it a bit sore, and he pulled up very sore, so I had to pull him up.
Well, the two guys having a great ride there were Joe Tizard and Barry Fenton. Barry Fenton on board Gunnar Welburn and Joe on Monty Fouter. You were right up there, weren't you?
That's it. I mean, he bounced out. He travelled super the whole way and jumped for fun. Fantastic ride.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was cracking and nice to be back there doing it again.
Exactly, considering that this guy broke his back not that long ago and was told he might not walk again. And Barry Fenton saw a huge stride at the chair, and luckily, Gunnar Welburn, Welly, didn't see the same stride as you.
No, just all I knew, I just had to keep the revs up going down to the chair. He's clever as an old fox, you know, whether right or wrong, you know, you can just keep the revs up on him. And if he comes out of your hands, he comes out of your hands. If he pops, he pops. Got an absolutely brilliant ride off.
Yeah, great. They finished 4th and 5th. Let's rejoin it at the water jump.
Now this is a sensible fence here at this point, Norman, because it brings back confidence after the chair.
It does. Barry's just dropped in on Gunnar Welburn again, and Monty Fall back in front. Tordorf Express, Tremalt, they're all streaming over. But it, you see the winner, Monty's Pass. He's white cap. He's bang up there now, and as I said earlier, Barry rode him very handy.
But you could patently see Barry was taking a tug on the reins there and saying, "No, I'm plenty near enough at this stage."
Did, but I think they all rode a very sensible race, Richard. There was no one being crazy and going too quick. Setting out on the final circuit, there's the winner, just 4th, white noseband in behind, tracking Tordorf. He's tracking the right horse. Ginger McCain out wide, not travelling at all.
Starting to be ridden along.
Exactly, race over for him, really.
And on the outside of Jean Jambres is little Jamie Moore having the ride of his life on Royal Predica. But up front, it's no real change. Carberry Cross is still there. Could this have been another one for the Duchess of Westminster? Well, we know it wasn't to be. He finished 7th. He's run a super race for John O'Neill, his first runner in the race as a trainer. Now, this is the first from the first circuit.
Yeah,
second time round.
It's funny how Monty's Pass is. You can see what Barry was talking about in the interview. No, he's just look at him jumping there. He's just arrived there. Oh, Tremalt,
absolute well sat by Jason Maguire, as good as gone.
Yeah.
But we didn't have any faller there. Now all the lads, they're just here. We can see it.
This is how Andrew Thornton sees a fence with a bit of mud in his head.
you can see the mud though, so there's a fair bit of cut in the ground. That's from the first circuit. So that's
the French runner going over there. Here we got.
There's Timmy Murphy. Absolute, as they say, a vision to watch going around. There you go, squeeze him up. Absolutely, and I think he stands a good bit off this. Yeah, pings it. Beautiful riding. There's Monty's Passes bang up there now with Gunnar Welburn.
But he's still taking a pull though.
He's loving it. Just easing back, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just easing back.
He's saying, I know, I've still got a mile and 3/4 to go yet. Now, we lose a lot here. Maximise of Henrietta Knights. Ad hoc unseats. Gogarnar falls. Robbo goes, You're a good one falls, he knocked a few, and Goodshaw pulls up. So if you've backed any of those, keep an eye on them now. Maximise, of course, the dark blue colours, Ad hoc, Sir Robert Ogden's.
There they're going, and all on the inside there. It looks as if they've all getting tangled up into it. Hard to say what's fell unseated and what's been brought down. But
I think most of it down the inner. I think Maximise might have been one of the first to go, but you'll see him down the inside, 1 or 2 off the inner.
There's Maximise coming to the jump now.
There you go. Sorry, I think Scooter's Ad hoc actually
went there.
Yeah,
dropped back into it.
Maximise fell independently.
But that was bad luck for Robbo. He actually got knocked off there.
Yeah.
Now I have to tell you that sadly Gogarnar was the only fatality of the race, and it was there at that point. Now go back.
There's Robbo just in front of us.
He had nowhere to go, did he? I mean, he would have seen
go.
from his height. He'd have seen all the trouble, and he's trying to save himself.
Robbo was robbed. Well, happily now they've all settled back now. Gunnar Welbert, look at that Amberleigh House in behind. I think John Hailwood was getting excited, and Big Ginger. That would have been the fairy tale. Now, Gunnar Welbert has jumped superbly all the way, and he empties out of petrol later on, but not for a good while yet. He's still putting up a good performance.
Yeah,
in behind the winner.
We're speaking, Richard, about Monty's pass. Barry gave a super right to put Barry Finton in front on this horse. You saw him jam on at the chair, and he's in back in front here, and he's in winging fences, and really enjoying himself. But really good to watch.
To people who ride horse, you understand what he's doing. You know, he's just leaving it. See, he went to go long there, didn't he? Pushed him long on the old horse.
Up and then just sit. Let the horse find it himself.
Yeah, that's right.
Lovely riding.
The secret of these fences is not to stand off all the time, isn't it? Because they're big fences. You want to let the horses to find their own way of going in and pop, and they're doing that.
They certainly are, but now it's coming to Beechers. We lose Red Striker, he falls, and Pervere River, the French horse, pulls up. Greg House falls.
Kiloski, my ride.
And Kiloski, your horse that you would have ridden, falls here. And Jerry Supple has a suspected broken leg, we hear, Norman.
Oh, poor fella.
He fell on Burlow, of course.
Let's hope he's not too bad. But here we are, Beechers. Again, Kiloski was travelling really well for Tony Dobbin, actually, but we won't see anything from there.
Richard Johnson went to the buckle end of the reins there.
Tour de Express goes right down on his nose as well.
Well, keep your eye on these horses. Look at the loose horse jumping brilliantly on the inside.
Now, Craig House is in the red, and I think he was on the outside. There's Craig House in the white outside.
And Burlow's in the red. Just keep your eye on Jerry Supple, and I think that's him going there. Oh, he paddled on the top of it. He was just at the back.
When you go to Beechers, you cannot make a mistake.
No. Now, we'll see it from here. Big bold jump from Gunnar Welburn. The winner in second place, Monty's pass. Berajan nearest to us. Carberry's Cross still there. Tremont hanging on.
That's Kiloski just about to go. There you go. Tony Dobbin just jumped too high. And,
he jumped it okay, didn't he? Just lost his balance.
There's your son, Tom, having a good ride round.
There's Dominic Ellsworth going over. There's
Bindery. Look
does
at
it
that
again, absolutely.
Now, here is Burlew. Let's see how Jerry Supple, and it doesn't look as if anything went on him. It was as he landed.
I think as he landed, twisted his leg.
Horrible sight.
Let's hope he's not too bad.
Well, the favourite on the off was Shotgun Willie, was pulled up before Beechers, Ruby.
Yeah, didn't get a great start and was kind of backing off his fences a bit. I think he might have burst. I know some blood mid Richards going to Beechers, so I pulled him up, but I was never really going.
An awful lot of good horses not jumping well. Let's join it up again, coming to the Foynhaven fence.
Yes, the smallest fence on the course, but this catches them out. They've just had the drop at Beechers. They're expecting a drop, and it's not there, Norman.
A lot of horses jam on, and you know, it frightens them a little. Carberry Cross hit it quite hard, but they're getting strung out now, and you really know your fate. If you're travelling well, you've got a chance. If not, you're looking after yourself a bit. Bindery again, Carlowell and Skew was mentioned earlier. Great ride, just creeping all the way, and got him to run a great race.
Just to report that one of the fans is Jean pulls up before he gets to the canal turn. Just to hear, this can be awkward when you've got a loose horse on the inner and you're trying to go across.
We had it a couple of years ago. We had a pile up when the loose horse refused, but again, all the lads riding it super. Berajan a little bit out from the others. Timmy Murphy was banged down the inner. And there you go, Bindery, clever as an old fox, popping it in the corner.
He has. He's gone the shortest way around. There's two clever foxes. Carl Llewellyn gets in that category as well. Another superb picture there of Gunnar Welburn jumping. What must first season trainer Andrew Balding have thought at this stage? It'd be very exciting. Here's Monty Foe, then behind. Now, isn't that a nice pose?
Beautiful picture. I wonder if Barry Finton got a hold of the neck strap or not. I have to give him a bit of stick. But beautiful picture to see him popping along there. I think really at this stage you could write it down between the horse first, second, and third and fourth. There wasn't a horse behind that was going to come and do him.
Except the one that does is in blue colours there with the white hat. And that is of course Supreme Glory. He's back in that seventh now, but starting to make his run now. Timmy Murphy's saddle was slipped round sideways. You could see him pushing it back over with his body weight.
Yeah.
Amberleigh House in third. Ginger McCain must have been absolutely
beautiful. There's Supreme Glory who runs a super race. Probably wanted the ground a bit softer. Tordorf Express, down he goes. Dropped his back end in the ditch. No chance.
No chance. It will be unseated rider though, Storming.
Oh, well, not to worry. I'm sure they're not worried once they get up and walk away.
No, not at all. Now this is a fence that can cause a little bit of trouble for tired horses at the back. They see the ditch and they start to refuse. But for those up the front who are still running, you know it's only 3 to go.
Yeah, you're as happy as Larry at this stage. If you've got this far and you're travelling, well, it's really time to be clever. I think Barry Geraughty here on the second, he's being clever, doesn't want to take it up, and Barry Finton's in front and he doesn't want to do too much.
No, all three jockeys are trying to save a little bit now. Barry Fenton on the leader, Gunnar Wellborn, will have just had a look out of the corner of his eye, or he had felt the winner at his side, and he just would be worried that he's going so well.
But you know, what we've got to remember is that two of these boys are having their first rides in the race here. Graham Lee, you know, tiny little,
Graham Lee,
almost
but,
flat jockey style, but great rider over fence.
And again, but he's sat there, he's crept into the race just nicely, he's given Amberleigh House plenty of light, and suddenly, you know, he's produced the horse at the right time, at the right place, just not quite good enough.
But you can see, if you had to have your life on a horse here, it would certainly be the eventual winner. I know it's clever now because it's nearly all over. But Barry Geraughty is saving, whereas Barry Fenton's starting to niggle now.
Yeah. Starting to niggle, Richard, and Barry is cantering, horse pricking his ears. It's just going back to Graham Lee, wonderful season he's had, but what a ride he gave this horse. Beautiful. Absolutely brilliant. Horse was not good enough on the day, no excuse.
The man who owns it, John Harewood, is a vintner, so I should think he won't have to buy a drink for the rest of his life.
There we see Supreme Glory. He's still a long way back and he's absolutely sprinted home.
He needs softer ground. He's one to put it in a notebook when we get our usual rain at Aintree.
Heading to the final fence, Monty's just taking it up. Now, if you're a jockey here, Barry Geraughty is delighted with the loose horse because he knows he's gone a long way around and the loose horse is going to give him a lead and he's not going to be on his own from a long way out. Our second horse, Amberleigh House, jumps out a little to the right, but from here it's let's go really for Barry Geraughty.
But you know, Supreme Glory must have motored because look, he's not in the picture. Amberleigh House is a good second here. He's on for the money.
But we've seen this picture change so many times up this running. I mean, I was going to say, I don't know what it's like to be in front up that running, but I know when you're from behind, it feels for an age up there.
But there's no way that winner was going to stop. Now we can see for the first time the light blue colours, white hat, Lake Naspel having his first ride. You always say what a good jockey is. He's proved it again.
And, you know, I saw him, I couldn't quite say it at the time, I saw him coming when we went round past the winning post first time. He was pushing and shoving along on Supreme Glory then. You know, they were just, the ground is just too fast for him.
Now the winning time was 9:21.6. That's a good fast time on this ground.
Yeah, so they're going past the line. We have Monty's pass finish, obviously finished, he won. Supreme Glory was second. Amberleigh House was third. Gunnar Wellborn was fourth. Monty Fort was fifth. Bindery ran on and was sixth. Carberry Cross was seventh. Blowing Wind was eighth. Tremont ninth. Berejan 10th. Jeddah 11th. Marge had given a great ride by Roddy Green, was 12th. Royal Pradika got round for little Jamie Moore, he was 13th. And last but still proud, Southern Star.
Absolutely, running well for Henrietta Knight. Having a look, Barry Geraughty knows, because he can't hear anything else, he knows there's nothing.
Yeah, and fair play to Barry Geraughty. I was giving him abuse during the week for getting off You Never Walk Alone, JP McManus's horse, and he said, listen, I think this horse could nearly win, so a brave shout and well done.
Yeah, it certainly was. Now, look, that is the owner, Mike Fouter. If you're winning €1 million, you're entitled to throw your binoculars over the top, I would think. It's a moment, he's very calm, incredibly calm. He knows he's there now. That's little Katie, she works in the yard as well. Patrick, the 12-year-old son of Jimmy Mangan, rides the horse out.
Them pictures, Richard, certainly weren't heading down to the first, I know that.
Well, I think Barry Geraughty certainly enjoyed watching that again. It was fantastic, wasn't it?
Unbelievable. Very hard to believe. Like, I had a great run the whole way. Travelled brilliant. Popped away. I gave him a kick at the second ditch, which the fourth last will have to go, and he stuck in his short one, and I just said, "You fucking idiot, you!" From me,
you're live on television, Barry.
For doing what I'm doing after getting my kick, so I grabbed a hold of him and just popped away, and kind of with a cautious race. There was no traffic up front. As Norman said that, and he's dead right. That was going through my head. The loose horse was a big help because he's a bit leery in the past. He has pulled up in front once before with me and Gorn one day, but just jumped like a stag and. Everywhere I went, I was a winner, you know.
Well, you gave him a great ride. Graham Lee, meanwhile, was having his first ever ride in the race on Amberleigh House, and you must have thought at one stage you were nearly going to win it.
I did get a bit excited, going to 3 out, but he just didn't last home. But I had an unbelievable ride, and he's ran his heart out.
And how much did Ginger say to you afterwards?
He was kind of speechless for once.
Was he?
But he was chuffed. It was a great effort, super effort.
Fantastic. Well, Leighton Aspel, who finished second, went dashing off to put his shirt on. Oh, here he is. Well done. He didn't want to be seen semi-naked. And again, you had a lovely ride there, didn't you?
Yeah, lovely ride. Outpaced early. I got a long way back in the end, but made a lot of ground up from the water to the first fence, second circuit. Jumped that line brilliantly. And just when I was quietly getting into the race, from the canal turn, they've quickened up and a bunch of four have got away. And then where the horses went out of stamina, I just picked them up gradually, jumped well, got the trip well.
Do you fancy coming back and riding him again?
Certainly ride him again, yeah.
Brilliant. Well done. Great ride. Thanks.
And we haven't mentioned that Pat Murphy trained Supreme Glory. Monty's Pass wins at 16-1. Supreme Glory second at 40s. Amberleigh House third at 33-1. And Gunnar Welburn was fourth at 16-1. Quite a few bookies paying down to the sixth places. So Monty Foles supporter finished fifth, get 33-1. And Bindery running a blinder after that mistake at Beecher's to run through to be sixth at 25-1. Carberry Cross was seventh for John Joe Neal, his first runner. Blowing Wind getting round again was eighth. Ninth, Tremont, having made much of the running. Berrajan never really looked like winning, not soft enough for him, was 10th. Jeddah, here for the sixth time, got round again today, and Marjed ran above his form to be 12th. Royal Pradika, one of two for Peter Deal, John Dale and Alan Stennett, finishing 13th there. Last and not least, Southern Star at 14. He was the 14th finisher. Now, the Bunny Boiler, he, I'm afraid, went early on. Then at the first fence. Fence 2, Bramble Hill Duke exited. Wonder Weasel went at fence 3. Beecher's Brook was for Dalco. Canal Turn, we had Polar Champ. The next one was at fence 12, where Chives was pulled up. Then fence 13, You'll Never Walk Alone, pulled up. Iris Blur pulled up. And the chair, Bally and the Clay King, pulled up. Unseated rider Caterino. That's a bit harsh. Fence 19, Ad Hoc unseated. You're a Good 'Un fell. Fell Maximise. Good Shul pulled up. Fell Goganard. Sadly, the only fatality of the race. One is too many. Robbo also exited there. Beecher's second time, Shotgun Willie, Craig House, Burloo, Killusty, Emperor River, they all went out of the race. Jean Jambra pulled up before the chair. Valentine's, Mantles, Prince and Red Arc unseated and pulled up. Red Striker and Tordoff were the next two. They both got rid of their jockeys, but they were getting tired by then.
Well, as you can see, it was a very eventful race and a wonderful story for the Irish here, and they're still celebrating. Wasn't quite the fairy tale ending for Mrs. McCoy, coming to see Tony for the first time at a British racecourse. But let's get her reaction to the race now. She's with Craig.
You did say before the race that really what you wanted was to see Tony
yeah.
come back. Tony
And he's back safe and sound, and it's a big result there for that horse that won and for his trainer and all. And I'm sure they're absolutely delighted.
I'm sure what happened there is taking the wind out of yourselves a bit. But did you enjoy your day?
I had a brilliant day, absolutely brilliant. Now I have to say I really enjoyed it, much better than I thought. Thanks to yourself and Lucy, and the cameraman and the sound man.
And tell me this: will there be any talking to Tony today now, or is it best left?
I won't talk to him today anyhow. Definitely not. I'll go home and have a good read and try and relax. Sure, tomorrow's another day, as Scarlett O'Hara would say.
Yeah, it is, but it looks like it's wonderful that she's had a nice day, and Claire and Angus have joined me. I don't think some of the bookmakers have had too good a day, though, Angus.
Well, it might have actually done today, Sue, but it was anti-post that this was a gamble. It started last year, and the owner, he left no one unturned apart from Corals. It was amazing. They're the only firm that said they never saw any money for it anti-post. He had huge bets with everyone. He's won well over £1 million, and some Northern Ireland bookmakers.
I thought it was 800,000.
Well,
it's over $1 million.
I would say it's over $1 million. When he starts to add it up, he kept backing it. I think that might be a small figure. I think it's the biggest gamble in the national history that's come off by an owner, and good luck to him. Corals were left unturned. The turnover was colossal. The tote said that today's Grand National was the biggest single turnover race ever, breaking all new records. Well, I mean, it just proves that the racing's only getting bigger when it comes to a big event like the Grand National. The owner, well, he's had a real touch, hasn't he?
He certainly has. I think we'll go and find him, Claire.
Absolutely, get a free drink of him. But so many well-fancied horses were beaten as well. You know, Ad Hoc, Shotgun Willie didn't finish, Chives didn't finish, Iris Blur didn't finish. So the bookies will still be rich. I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah, but I've got to get from a personal point of view, Claire. there, Andrew, your brother, his first run at Gunnar Welburn, did him proud.
I was getting, well, you saw me watching.
You were crying.
Yeah, I just kept thinking, I can't believe it, this horse is leading, and he was leading at the water first time, well, leading coming into the chair, and Barry Fenton saw a really big stride, and the horse is just so clever. He said, no, get lost, I'm not standing off that far, it's the chair. Stuck a little short stride in, and then he just popped away, jumped absolutely brilliantly. And I just thought he ran a huge race. For Andrew's first runner in the race. Oh, is that me watching?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. I mean, we have to blame our cameraman. He saw that you were getting quite emotional.
I was going to start, but then I get all professional and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, sort of. No, I wouldn't have been able to cope, I think, if he'd won. I mean, just a great run from him. I'm so pleased. To finish 4th is perfect.
Okay, and what about the winner, though? I mean, I've never seen scenes like that. I mean, you couldn't get any more people in the winners' enclosure.
It was mayhem, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, it was worse than I remember either Bobby Joe or Papillon being, but the Irish just bring over so many people, and that being owned by a syndicate, although headed by Mike Fouter, it's loads of people involved in it, so they're all paying little bits of money each, and they all can enjoy it.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for the moment. Just before we go, a reminder of what you can see tomorrow. We've seen a wonderful sporting event completed here today. Tomorrow, well, it's on the Thames. It's the boat race, Oxford versus Cambridge. You'll be able to see live coverage tomorrow from 3:25 on BBC One. And on BBC Two, at the moment, you can see live